on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk, we gon' have fun. We be on fire, we be lit. It's a unique hustle.
Check it. It's a unique hustle. It's your boy ECO, and I'm here with the lovely, amazing, official Miss Jamaica.
Nothing, no more day walk on. I want y'all to stop what you're doing right now. Go like, subscribe, follow us from all social media platforms. When I mean all, I mean all. I mean our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. You know we on it. Just Google us, Boss Talk Podcast 101. We'll pop up first in line, I guarantee you. But y'all see us on the streets and talk about, man, I love what y'all doing. How can we be a part of Boss Talk? How can we support Boss Talk? This is how you can do so. Under each and every interview, including this one right here, in the description section below, there's a link that says join our membership. Click that link, follow all the instructions, and that's how you see all the exclusive content that y'all been asking us, where's this interview, where's that interview? You gotta be a member to see it. Join us today, and stay on the lookout. BossTalk101.app coming your way soon. Thank you, and we love you.
Man, listen, man, we down in San Antonio, Texas today, bro. And I had to dig deep, man. Shout out to my boy, Boss Man Brewster, man. It's going down, man. Down in San Antonio, man, I ran into a gym. This gonna be legendary. Mr. Bennie Price, a.k.a. Papa, is in the building.
In the building, what's up?
What's going on, man? Make sure you speak right into that mic.
Up?
Man, it's just an honor and a pleasure to have you on Boss Talk 101, man. And it's something we do. That's why I had to settle down, man. Miss Jamaica, let's take it there.
So you're born and raised here in San Antonio?
Born and raised in San Antonio.
What part?
East Side.
East
Wheatley
Side.
Courts.
So I know a lot of time since I've been here in the States, you have East Side, West Side, all of these different sides. What makes your side different from any other side, or is they all the same?
No, I think what makes San Antonio's East Side different primarily because it was considered the black side. You know, San Antonio is predominantly Hispanic, so the East Side was predominantly the black.
So San Antonio has always been predominantly Hispanic?
Always.
Okay. And so predominantly black. Where's the white side?
The white side is all over, but you know, there's really no white side. It's just really a Hispanic side for the most part.
Okay. So how was it like growing up in San Antonio where it's predominantly Hispanic and the minority is black?
Well, growing up on the East Side, you really didn't notice it.
Okay.
You know, because you kind of like stayed in your area for the most part. Where you went to school, that it was predominantly black. Where you shop at, predominantly black. Now you might see it if you go to town. You know, when you was young, then you start seeing it. But for the most part, you really didn't see it. Okay.
So the East Side have some nice houses too, right?
I ain't gonna say they had no nice houses, but I'm from the projects, you know what I mean? So,
okay.
The projects was the best house I ever seen for in my life.
Okay, because the reason why I asked that, because I know a lot of time, the thing that I think about when people always say the black side, is always like the most impoverished side is the black side. And I'm like, don't you have like black folks who have, money that would have a nice house that would,
Yeah, they create that. I think, we was growing up, I think maybe Lakeside was probably that area. Where,
okay.
Where you start to have a little money and people start to move out too.
Okay, because I want to show that we do have some too. It's not just, we don't always just not have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but San Antonio is, for the most part, it's not even 7% black. So you don't have that many black
Is
people.
that little bit?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's stretching it with, I think, with all the armed forces that we have here, because we used to be the military capital of the world. So that really used to stretch it.
That's dope. So were you raised in a household with your mom and your dad?
No, I was raised by my grandmother.
By your grandmother. So where was mom and dad?
Mom was out doing her thing, and dad was out doing his thing for the most part. He was, I guess, back and forth to prison, and then ended up getting a life sentence. So.
How old were you?
With my dad?
Yeah, when he got a life sentence.
I probably was around 11 or 12 years old.
Do you remember did you have any fond memories with him?
I just remember that he was my dad. And I don't remember when, I got that first image. Maybe I was 5 or 6, 7 years old, and I just never forgot it. So no matter how long he was gone, I just knew that every time I seen him, like, that was my dad.
That's your dad.
Yeah.
And you try to treasure any memory, any type of time you get to spend with him, that would be a good time for you, right? Nah. So you didn't get to spend no time with him? Or what was it like when you did get to spend time with him?
Not really, just, again, I just knew that was my dad.
Okay,
but
that's
there was really no, to be honest with you, there was no love there. There was no connection. There was I just knew that was my dad. I respected that as a child, all the way up until his passing, but it wasn't no relationship there, so I just knew that was my dad. Kind of like the same thing with my mom,
She came around sometimes?
No, she was always around.
Okay.
And I had this strange feeling when she was around. Like, you know, I didn't know like what that strange feeling was.
Really?
Yeah, because my grandmother was my mom.
Okay.
You know, and so, you know, I just had this strange feeling. I was like, wow, I have this strange feeling about this woman.
So you didn't know that she was your mom?
No,
Because-
not really. Not really, because my grandmother was my mom.
Right. So she never told you that was your mom.
If she did, it didn't register
Okay.
because she was mom.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Because grandma took care of everything. Okay. So, did you have a father figure in your life, although your father wasn't in your life? Did
no,
you have
I didn't
anybody?
have no father figure. I had some uncles that was in and out, you know, going back and forth to prison, you know.
How, looking back on your life now, do you see where not having a father figure or your father in your life affected your life?
Yeah, I can see that. This is why I want to say this. You can't replace a father. That's what I want to say. So having a father in your life really makes a difference.
Right.
But growing up the way we grew up, you know, we the fatherless generation. So we thrive without fathers. You know, our mothers, raised us. Our grandmothers raised us. You know, and then the men in the community raised us. So that's where we got to learn how to be a man from. You know, learn how to even be a boy from. You know, from the community.
Because you know how some people say, I get so many, asking these questions, I get so many, feedback. Some people say, well, although I didn't have it in my life, I didn't see the difference. You know what I mean? Because I did have a father figure. So whether it be my football coach or my stepdaddy or whatever, they stepped up and became that person. So I was not in need for that. You know what I mean?
Well, when you don't have something and you live in poverty or you live in a single parent home and the majority of the community is that way, you don't feel like you're missing nothing because you don't have it. But I know that that you're missing something now because my father came back in my life many years later, right? And he had to basically re-raise me. You know?
How old were you at that time?
When he came back in my life, I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And I think that's when he began to start re-raising me, when I let him back in my life. And what I mean by re-raise is because, like, when you raise in the streets, they give you some codes to go by, right? A lot of them say boys don't cry, right?
Right.
And then, when you see your dad crying for you because he loves you, you made a mistake, you in jail, you in prison, you're like, well, you gonna tell him he's not supposed to cry?
Yeah.
No, men cry, boys cry too. We just don't cry too much, and then in the process of him re-raising me, now I knew what I'm gonna say a real man is supposed to do, how he's supposed to act, And I give you just one example of that. He sent me a letter and he say, son, I'm finna send you some very, very important information. He said, make sure you safe keep it, right? I said, okay. And the next time I got a letter, it was insurance policy, right? Life insurance policy, right? I'm like, man, thinking like, man, what's my pop's finna die? What's wrong with him? So I wrote him, I said, hey, I need you to come see me, because I want to know, what was, going on,
Scared you?
And no, it didn't scare me. It's just that, because I had been numb by that time about life and death.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was just, I knew it was important, and I just wanted to know what was going on with him, And so he came to see me, and I was like, hey, what's this life insurance policy, man? Like, what's going on? He said, ain't nothing going on. That's what men do. Men get life insurance policy. I want, you my beneficiary. I want to make sure that you had this paperwork. So if anything do happen, you got it. And it was just one simple thing to show me, like, this is what men do. And in our culture, where we come from, we passing a hat every time one of ours die. And he was like, nah, we're not passing no hat over here.
I like that. So when he came back into your life at 18, did you have to forgive, or you already had forgiven him and you had him open arms to him?
I don't think there was no forgiveness in order, because remember, I didn't miss anything up until that point. I was in the streets, I didn't miss anything. It's just that when he came in my life, he said, son, I'm not your friend, I'm not your homeboy, right? He said, I'm your daddy. I can't make up for the past, but I can keep my word today. And he said, I'm not doing nothing wrong for you. And that's the word that he kept since I was 18, all 23 years.
Wow.
He kept that word all the way until I came home, and he still kept that word,
Build that bond. I love that. You made me want to almost cry. Love it.
Wow, man. Just hearing your story, man, is just it's something about a father and a son, you know, a mother and a son. You know, family is something it's not as easy. There's no book written. You know what I mean? This is just some of the things that we experience as children growing up, as parents being fathers to children. It's just always a catchism when we interview people, and that's one of the reasons she always asks that question about family, father and son, are they in the same household? Because it matters, you know what I mean? It makes a difference, you know what I'm saying? They classify it as a dysfunctional family when one of the parents are not there or both of the parents are not there. How old were you when you first got in any trouble?
I think I was I think I've been getting in trouble all my life.
That's what I know, but how old were you? If you remember
when
back?
I had my first experience with, I think, law enforcement, I think I was in the 5th grade.
Wow.
Being raised, you know, in the culture in the projects, you know, some laws that you're given, right? You know, hit first. You know, if they're bigger than you, pick something up. You know, make it even. You know, and I got into it with this bigger person, right? Because I was always one of the smallest ones, you know, in the crew, you know. And when I got into it with this big person, you know, I just followed the law, you know. Bigger than me, picked something up, picked up a Coke bottle. I don't know if y'all remember them Coke bottles.
Oh, yeah, they were hard, too. They wasn't them was some good ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so there you go, you know. Hit them in the head, bust their head, and I ended up getting a little probation at the time. It wasn't really nothing major. They was, you know, they just kind of like, you know, you get you like a little 6 month probation, whatever, and that was it. Yeah.
You know, the funny thing when you said that hit first, that was a rule in my mind growing up. I would always say, no, I'm gonna get hit first because I was raised with both my parents, so in my mind, I don't want to get in trouble. But if they hit me first, I can't get in trouble because that's self-defense. So that's what I would always grow up with in my mind thinking.
You know, what's trouble, you know, for kids in the projects? You know, you can't say getting a whooping, you know, is trouble in the project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's just a rite of passage. You know what I mean? You're gonna get those. You know what I mean? You ain't a little boy in the projects if you ain't getting those. So that was never a fear of ours that we gonna, you know, get in trouble. Now I did have a fear of like hurting my grandmother's her feelings. You know, like
disappointing her.
Yeah, because I was like her favorite. You know what I mean? So, but other than that, you know.
Let me ask you something. You say you keep referring to the projects. I went to New York and I interviewed D. Haven in Marcy Projects, where him and Jay-Z grew up at. And when I was there, the funny thing to me was he still had an apartment there in the Marcy's Projects where he grew up with Jay. He had another place, but he kept the link to that Marcy Project. Is that something is that project still there today?
No, they so in basically in Texas they almost tore down all the projects.
Okay.
But they redeveloped it.
Okay.
And so that's the community that I serve today.
Okay.
One of the hardest things to have to deal with is the projects getting tore down and I didn't get one of those bricks. You know.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Like, you know, because you know I was like, man, that's, you know, it was the best place in the world, the safest place in the world, you know, the most loving place in the world, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, you can remember all the moments. I don't know, sometimes the lights get turned off. In my project, when I lived in Vegas, I stayed in the projects on the west side by Doolittle Park, and the lights got turned off. I remember they was laughing at us. I'll never forget that. You know, as a young kid, I'm only 9 or 10, and I don't even really like. I don't know how. My mama more offended than me. I don't care. You know, I'm like, shoot, we just had to get the lights on. 'Cause I come from the country where there wasn't no lights, no way. Even going up there at that early of age, I understood. You know, that sometimes the lights might not be on, but like for you guys growing up in y'all projects, was the lights always on? Was the water always running? Was the government cheese always there?
Yeah, we always had that. You know, I like to say, I think one of the biggest characteristics that I have about myself, still to this day, was my grandmother, knowing how she was a hustler, right? You know, she used to go clean houses and stuff like that, right? And we never went without, like, we never had, you know, much, but we never went without. Like, we never went hungry. The lights was never off. The water was never off. You know, we always had clean clothes. You know, she was a hustler.
That's
you know
a blessing in itself.
And she didn't have to compromise herself, you know, how we looked at it, even to get some money.
That's right.
So growing up, I was gonna compromise myself, to get some money.
Wow, man. I just, one thing I do when I come to these cities, man, I like to, touch down, grab hold of people that have been through stuff like me, and try to get the essence of, not only are you shout out to OG Pyru, just pulled up on the block.
In the house.
I mean, he here, so trouble about to begin, guys. He here, he just pulled up down in San Antonio. He done pulled up and hey man,
I've been on the river walk.
Oh man, hold up.
Been on the damn river walk. Ain't no holes on the river walk.
Oh man, hold on, let's get to it. Let me go back in, but man, just
Welcome to the city, man.
Oh man, there it is, the official welcome into the city. So like for you, man, like to be one of those guys, man, that been out. How long have you been out? I want to ask that first.
I've been out since 2016.
That's dope. I like that. So that means you've been out here working and trying to make sure the kids and everybody seeing a change. Yeah. Now we can go back in. Like I want to understand, like what caused you not? Did you ever hit juvie? I want to walk through this thing.
Yeah, I hit juvenile too. I hit juvenile. I think I was 12 years old in juvenile. Little short story. In the projects, things had changed. They had changed drastically. Crack cocaine hit, and then right after crack cocaine hit, it's like the gangs hit, Crips and Bloods. Colors hit, right, and so everything got more violent. More girls. More monies, just more guns, more everything. And so. Seeing that kind of violence, that uptick in violence, for some reason I gravitated towards it as a kid, right? And when it was my turn, I went to a big homie in the hood and bought a 22, right? Now you can ask me what a 12-year-old's buying a 22 for, right? But I'm like, that's how it had changed, right? It just, everybody had guns, right? I used to sleep on guns. I had to hold guns for the big homies, right? And I went and bought my first gun. And when I went and bought my first gun, he told me, if you shoot this gun, don't throw it away and make sure you bring it back.
That's right.
Now, who tells a youngster? First of all, who sells a youngster a gun like that? And who tells them, give them those kinds of laws, right?
Right.
So it's the law being laid, right? And so not even an hour later, I go play basketball up the street from the projects. And I was pretty good. I was small, really quick. Kind of like I want to say, kind of like skip to my little, playing. I could throw the ball around you, toy with you. And the older guy was upset about that. Now he would come down here, dunk, post me up. He was doing his thing too, but he couldn't take what I was doing to him, and so he started pushing me, elbowing me. But I'm from the project, so I ain't going nowhere. And then one time he dunked the ball, and when the ball came out of the net, I went to grab the ball, and I heard. He spit on me. So I'm like, oh no, I'm like, man, and then the law is what? That's the worst thing you can do to a man almost, right? Yes. Next to saying your mama, you know what I mean? And so I went and got my 22. Right there, right on side. Went and got it, and came back and he was laughing. Like, I guess he didn't see it because he was so small. He was like, oh, let nigga, you funny, and I pow! Oh no, and I pow! And, oh no more. Then I'm finna shoot him one more time. And my partner grabbed, no, Papa, don't kill him, man. Everybody watching. And, said, man, go to the project, man, go. And so the first thing that came to my mind, right, be honest with you, is I got to follow the law. I can't throw the gun. Wow. And I got to make sure that he get this gun back.
That's right.
And how long was it afterwards?
Not even an hour. Not even an hour.
Wow, so... At that point, you're 12 years old, and your life changes in a matter of not even an hour.
Yeah, but
but you didn't think about it like that.
It
didn't register that whatever it was.
It was because.
But that's like a rite of passage, though, bro. And like you say, but see, OG gave you some wisdom because whatever you do with this, you get it back to me. I know how to take care of it. If you do something foul with it, you're going to get us all wrapped up. You feel what I'm saying? And I understand. That was my first gun of deuce too. Smith & Wesson, deuce. You did what I'm saying? And it's amazing. And going back to, from what you said, that living in the projects, you can't miss nothing you ain't never had, you know. And the velocity of men around. I'm like you. I didn't grow up with colors. I grew up with James Cagney, Edward G. Robinson, and the Untouchables. I never thought about having a wife and kids. I'm gonna rob banks. You know what I'm saying? But then I didn't know in murder there wasn't no commercial. You understand? So when you saying that, that's really resonated to me when you talked about how you grew up in the that ain't no hard luck story. These dudes talking about what they didn't have, but we made it through. Yeah. I never would. Granny took care of everything.
Best time of my life.
You dig what I'm saying? Them there on the other side, that's what they was doing. I grew up with a mother and father sitting at the house every day and ended up the same way you was. So we all had the same frustrations through white America. It had nothing to do with what happened in-house, what happened with the tribe. And we learned survival skills. You learn some things at 12 that I'm not gonna tolerate. I don't care how small I am. He know about it.
Yeah. He
went through on folks all in the club.
Don't put my business in there. But let's stay on this. Let's stay on this. I want to just say, like, after it all, the dust settled, did you do what he asked you to do? I gotta ask.
I followed the law.
You did exactly what he told you to do.
How many people told on you?
I don't know who all told him because he lived.
A gang of them.
He
lived.
Listen. He told them.
Yeah.
And I just got a letter in the mail say go to court.
At 12.
At 12. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I got the letter, because it was like the summer had hit. It was at the end of the school year, so summer had hit. And by the time I got the letter, I had progressed in the streets. Well, now, I'm trying to score a little quarter ounce. Yeah. So that's all I'm thinking about, scoring my quarter ounce. Man, them quarter ounces used to be fat.
No, don't play. Yeah. Don't play. Don't do that.
Quarter ounces used to be fat.
Yeah.
I missed that whole.
Oh no, you're gonna make some money. You're gonna make some money. Yeah. And at that time, was that the first time you had worked your way up from 50s? I don't understand. Mm-hmm. And you to get to a quarter ounce was a big thing.
Yeah. I worked my way up from get my $10 flip.
See that yeah. So you
$20 flip. $30 flip.
So basically, you were buying and pretty much having to split what you buy from the homie.
Doubling up.
Yeah. Doubling up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, my story a little different, but I get it though. And then you're like, I'm finna make this quarter ounce. Then you get this letter in the mail.
Yeah, I get this letter in the mail. You gotta go to court.
Wow.
And so it's still not registering, right? So I go to court. Days before I go to court, I got to meet with some counselors, some lawyers. So they like, well, okay, and they all saying the counselors, the lawyer, the prosecutor, they all saying probation. We're gonna give you some probation, going there, it's gonna be standard, I'm like, okay, cool, But all I'm concerned about, is being able to get rid of this quarter and give me another one, And so when I go to court, that's all I'm thinking about. Man, I gotta get back out here. I got this quarter. These quarters is fat.
Yeah. So you had bought it.
I bought my quarter.
You had your quarter ounce, your first one.
First one. Man. You know what I mean? And so when I go before the judge, it's supposed to be standard. Probation, the counselor probation, the lawyer probation, the prosecutor probation, and now the judge, I was going to say probation, right? You remember I've been in trouble a couple of times, but only one time in juvenile, for the coke bottle.
Correct.
Right? So it's like, I'm just up in there like, I'm just ready to get back to the projects, man, And when I went in front of the judge, he says, Mr. Price, I can't let you, shoot people on the basketball court and continue to go play basketball, right? I'm like, I'm cool, I understand, give me some probation. That's what's gonna happen, And I saying, I'm gonna sentence you to a year in Texas Youth Commission. At this time I don't even know what that is. Yeah. I'm really thinking this is probation.
Right.
And
you're only 12.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probation. I'm like, it's not even registering. But Texas Youth, Commission is
locked up.
Yeah, youth detention. You know what I mean?
I'm taking you today.
Yeah, taking me today.
Yeah,
and so when they went to put in the handcuffs, I'm like, hey, what? They like, oh yeah, no, this is what that mean. So they came back and talked to me. This is what that mean. You gonna go? And I'm like, damn. I'm sitting back there. I'm sick. I'm like, man. Now I'm thinking about all the stories of juvenile. What's happening in juvenile?
Okay.
Man, they be raping people. Man, they be running. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
They be squabbling. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, man. So I'm like, man. I made my mind up then. I'm killing me somebody. They touch me. Anyway, I'm killing somebody.
That's right.
So, but how can you do that when you ain't got no pistol now, right? So you got to build some strength up. So I went to doing me some back arms, some push-ups, some sit-ups, you know what I'm saying?
That's what everybody do with
every night. I went to sleep sweaty every night. I got to build me some strength up.
You got to build them up.
Because if something happened, I got to at least be able to hold something. You know what I mean? Choke something out, you know what I mean? And so I was like,
gonna rape you.
But I had it in my mind, I'm from the projects. I'm going to hold it down.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have a good report from me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was like really almost, I think I was like really the first one from the projects to really like had that kind of action, you know what I mean? And go to, you know, like, so I was like, man.
Oh, so you didn't have a gang of homeboys when you went in there?
Nah.
Shit.
Nah.
How old was the dude that you got shot?
He was a senior in high school.
Okay, he was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, 17, 18.
Yeah, something like that. He was senior in high school, right? But I just.
After the shooting, did you see him again?
I didn't see him till after I got out of TYC.
Okay.
And then I went up
He
and
stayed
stopped.
the hell out your way all the rest of that.
No, like I said, he was never in our zone. We just went to go play basketball. You know what I mean? And I guess he was a good kid at school, you know what I mean? But when I got out and I went in and stop and go, now I'm smoking a little weed, you know what I mean? I went up in there, you know how you get high back then, you know, and stop and go, you used to have these hot dogs and hamburgers, you go up in there and put it in the microwave and warm up, you know, when you're high. And so I get all this stuff, I'm just going again, and I put it all at the counter, and I heard, no, you can have it. And that's the first time I really looked up. I looked up, and it was him.
Wow.
He said you can have
He worked
it.
there.
Yeah,
he worked there.
Yeah, he worked there. He's the cashier. He's the cashier, yeah.
So he let it go.
Nah, he ain't gonna let me go. I'm paying for this.
I'm paying
No, I'm
for
saying in his mind, he was just trying to.
Yeah.
He didn't want. He
wasn't from the streets. He wasn't from the streets.
that lead changed your mind.
That changed all that.
Oh, yeah.
So when he seen you, he got a flashback.
Yeah. When I seen him, I'm like, nah, I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know if he's gonna say I stole it or whatever.
That's
you know,
right.
Like, I'm paying for this. Like, nah,
So when the youth commission, is it like say in California, we have like your first time you go to juvenile hall, you do 6-7 months, then you go to camp facilities, and the camp you
Yes, it was more like camps. It's more like camps. It's more like camps.
Dorm living.
Yeah, dorm living.
Okay.
How was it the first day you walk in there? Because you had to go. They had to process you in.
Yeah, they process you in.
He doing push up. He ready.
Man, listen. Every night.
At
Every
12.
night back on. Every night.
At 12.
Every night.
Yeah.
You know
You
what I mean?
be nervous.
Every night.
Yeah.
Every night I'm getting ready because I know what I'm gonna do. I know where I'm gonna stand at.
Anybody try to rape me, it's over. They'll tell about it in hell. I'm not going down.
It ain't got to get there.
Yeah.
It can say the wrong thing,
And it's
I'm
going
taking
down.
off.
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
talking about I'm released in early and often.
And they say that they say they cut up more than prison is the way people say. The kids in there trying to prove something.
That's the hardest part of incarceration ever. The kids on kids. Grown people, we got a certain demeanor. In juvenile hall, everybody want to be grown and want respect. And if it's I told you I couldn't play games because I hate to lose. And if I lose and you talk about me, we fighting. I don't care. I'll be in the box just happy. You understand me? So it's when you growing up, you learn you got to be a man. Like he said before about, man, you don't cry. You with the homies, you do this. So you got to be a man. So we put man on a standard that if you do something to me, I gotta kill you, I gotta shoot you. But then as when you learn what a real man is, let him alone and let somebody else kill him.
That's real. I want to say when you got there, just run me down on how it was when you first entered into TY. I call it TYC.
Yeah, TYC. Yeah, when you first get there, you get like orientation. You know, you at the when you first get the orientation and you go in there and they're going to evaluate you and they're going to tell you where you're going to go, right? And at this time, youth detention had exploded. So, you know, you couldn't normally go where you normally would go. You just they had whatever spot they found for you next, that's where you're going.
That's where you're going.
Yes, because it had exploded, you know what I mean? So they might tell you you're going here, but you end up going here. Mm-hmm. And so they tell you where you're going. So I went up the hill to Brownwood, and I was ready. I mean, like listen, I'm firing off. It ain't no consequences that I'm concerned about. None of that. You know what I mean? And it was just like that though.
But when you get there,
did
you have to?
Yes, you got the squabble.
As soon as you got there, somebody approached you.
Yes,
Somebody gonna test you.
You got the squabble. And then you got to remember, you know, I'm gonna say this, you know, being from San Antonio, it's not that many of us blacks.
That's right.
You know, so these other cities got a lot of blacks, so we got a little harder.
Yeah.
Because we ain't got homeboys when we come through the door.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We got to really stay down. And so other cities, they kind of get more of a pass. You know what I mean? But coming from San Antonio, you got to really stay down.
Bring it.
And so you get your little squabbling in, and you stand where you're gonna stand at, and then it gets better. Yeah. And then now you become one of the regular ones, regulars. Now you ain't really got to do no squabbling, you know what I mean? Unless one of the regulars get out of line, right? And then you have to squabble with them just to make sure that you keep your rep.
Okay, I got
and now,
you.
So then now you're in leadership.
Yeah.
You orchestrating what's going on.
Yeah. So when you went down there and you basically got in the mix, did it seem like the time as a young guy? Can you remember? Was it at 12? Did it seem like time was moving fast or slow? As far as when you looked up and you was in there 6 months, and you looked up and you was in there 9 months, and a year then came.
It moved really, really fast.
Okay.
On days where you just in there. It moved really, really slow when you have communication from the world.
Okay.
Right? And again, when I was in there, the world had changed again. Because like when I first went, like I was telling you, the gang culture had hit. But after I got there, it had exploded. So now everybody coming in representing
what they rep.
Either repping Crips or Bloods. But it really wasn't that many Bloods at the time, but it was a lot of Lokes.
That was in the 90s.
Yes, a lot of Lokes.
What 90? What year?
I'm 90. My last time is in 90.
No, I'm talking about when you went during that time.
Mine's 89.
89. Okay, so you get in there. That. I'm just thinking the music period. 91, 92. Yeah. That's when Snoop Dogg and all of them in colors and all. But the Crip was early on the one that everybody was rocking with Crip because of the way that the Snoops and the Dre's and all the way they felt about the music, I believe.
But more it was before them.
Yeah.
It was more like MCA.
MCA, there you go. That's where I'm going. Yeah, you're right.
NWA. They was kind of promoting more of,
the Crip culture.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only one we had with DJ Quick was the only one that we knew that was a Blood when we were looking at it after colors.
And that was
when it popped off.
That was 1990.
Correct. So that's the only one we knew. So, and basically, when you get in there, and now, how do they facilitate the gangs? Because they new to it too. Talking about the people
They don't. The inmates facilitate it.
Okay.
The inmates run it.
Because when you look early on, I just think about now you go in, they looking at your tattoos, they trying to figure out what gang you with. As soon as you get in, they stripping you, looking at all your identification marks. Okay, you with this group. Back then, with it being so new.
But see, like he said, they come up under a culture on colors and boys in the hood. So they're mimicking not real life, because real life ain't even really projected. Like I tell you, a woman told me when I was in Memphis, what do you feel like bringing this to our... Pyrus didn't bring it. Y'all didn't know nothing about Bompton, California. Colors and boys in the hood brought y'all this shit.
But you got to remember, when you speak in knowledge, you speak in the facts of California, right? And so if somebody in Memphis say, why y'all bring this down, that's what happened. Because what they're saying is that there was really no such thing as the different kinds of red flags. It was just all red flags. You want to say Bloods, you want to say Power, whatever. We thought it was all the same when it came down here. So that's why they say, why you bring it down here? But you saying, no, y'all didn't know about that. Yeah, because we put it all in the same pot.
Yeah, but it's still in all. Yeah. I couldn't have brought it, but it's white America that brings this type of, because before we've been doing this since the 70s, you never was exposed to it. But the media made it popular and you gravitated to it. And then somebody came or told you about it, probably wasn't even from us. You dig what I'm saying? So when you say, well, don't shoot the problem, let's shoot the solution. It's media, and when you get into that, like you say, they start coming in, and everybody rapping this, everybody rapping, well, cuz this. Well, these are the words, but then I start repping something. You got dudes saying they from different hoods, never been to California, So
and this is what I want to say about that, right? And I'm probably gonna be one of the most respectful guys you ever gonna talk to.
I definitely.
So, and this is what I want to say. Even though some of them guys ain't never been to those neighborhoods, you hear me? They are those neighborhoods. true and true, through and through. You hear me? When it came to Texas, right? We was already gangsters.
Yeah.
There was nobody more gangster than us. If you want to talk about gangsters, we're like, what Project USA? We all the same.
Right.
No matter what project you're from, we all the same.
Right.
We just, like you say, we just, grab a hold to the gang culture. Now, my neighborhood, we didn't grab a hold to it. We didn't become Crips or Bloods for the longest, right? We just represented our projects.
Right.
And I like to say, my nickname is Little Texas.
Wow.
You hear me? And I want to let them know, like, no, Texas is a square business, and ain't nothing realer than Texas.
And let me say this.
With all due respect.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean?
No, and I want to say it's funny that you say that because when I was in Kansas, when I called you the other week, Kansas City, Missouri, I was interviewing Tech Nine and Black Walk. Black Walk did a lot of time, but Black Walk talked about when the Bloods came to 55th Street. He named Tech Nine, and he said the biggest thing was he wasn't with it because he wanted to represent who he was,
right.
but a guy from it had to be from, I want to say from, if we're from California, I'll say that just to be clear. He say they came down, they moved to there, and he was offended. He said because they had their drugs and they had stuff they was trying to do in the neighborhood. He said, but they had already been hustling in the hood, so he was offended by the fact of them coming. A lot of people in the hood went to being 55th Street Bloods, but he was pretty much, his family was they had already a connection and everything else, so they wanted to exclude themselves from that, more so because of the fact of them, not only, they didn't want to be a part of something that wasn't their street. Like you're saying, and they were so into Kansas City, Missouri. So it was that for the projects, because I remember the projects being even the East Dallas, like I said, Doolittle, but Doolittle Bloods. I'm telling you that right now. I knew that because I went up there. It was the 70s, 80s when I was up there. That was early on. But the thing I gotta say is when I looked at it when I was in Houston, Texas, I think I told you this the first time. I told Melvin this when I was in California when I first met y'all. I heard colors. And we beat somebody up right after the movie. We started banging. It was some Hispanics just walking, and blacks everywhere started fighting. Right. And we was repping something and didn't even know what we were repping at that time, but we know we felt something.
Yeah.
I'm being real.
Yeah.
And so we started chasing and whooping people right after the movie theater.
So we might have what we call the politics, not in line, right? But the gangsterism,
been there.
It's there. So like you say, when you say, how can you represent a street that you're not from? And like no, we might not have the politics, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't know that we couldn't represent streets that we're not from. If they had told us, we'd named our own streets. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
But since they didn't say that, like I said, we might not have the politics right. But as far as the gangsterism and you saying, you repping this right here, they repping it.
They repping it.
They repping it. They might not have the politics part of it.
And then most states,
That's real.
Y'all repping harder than California. It's just like in Dallas. We got Pyrus out there, but they fish trap Pyrus from their projects.
That's right.
They not fruit towns. They not West Side. They not Campanellas. When you talk about fish trap, you know where they from. When you talk about your project, whether it's red or blue, it should be Little Texas. You feel what I'm saying? So the media has it twisted that you gotta be from 8 Trey. You gotta be from 60s. That makes you, what they call it, we certified. What certification is it? You are, like you said, you've been gangsters all along. You dig what I'm saying? So you don't need me to facilitate you to tell you that, oh yeah, you in. Who in the hell am I?
Well, you got to think about it. In Texas, is crazy with it because you think about it, they have 163 prisons here, I believe, and that's a lot of prisons, more than everybody. So they had to. They enjoyed the fact
163.
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
So that you see what I'm saying. So they had to enjoy understanding. Oh, these gangs, and they benefited from that.
Yeah, that's
you understand
the whole
what I'm saying? That's how they kept brothers locked up in the prisons.
In San Antonio, you said the percentage of blacks is small.
Smaller than 7%.
Okay, that's like San Diego, California. It's Hispanics, Mexicans. They come from Mexico, and they like 10 or 12% blacks.
Wow.
So but in that it keeps I always find, even when we was Pyrus, when our numbers were small, our strength was bigger. And when we start broadening out, we start becoming weaker. You know what I'm saying? So I find out all them little bitty sets, they be critical.
So we're probably one of the smallest projects, you know, it is, right? And I'm gonna just be honest with you, you know what I mean? Like,
let's go.
Like nobody gonna say I'm lying, you know what I mean? We didn't grab a hold to the Crips and Bloods, but we respect it 100% because we know it's real in every neighborhood, in every set. We know they repping it, we know it's real. And you're gonna have problems with them if you have to face off with them, you know?
Okay.
I'm from the Wheatley Courts, you know what I mean?
Okay.
What's the name of it?
Wheatland Courts.
Wheatley Courts.
Wheatley Courts,
Yeah.
okay.
And if our big homeboy had told us, y'all was gonna be Bloods or y'all was gonna be Crips, that's what we was gonna be.
Right.
Because that's what the big homies, you know, run the hood. He didn't give it to us.
Right.
So we just repped our neighborhood. You
That's
know?
right.
And by the time I was 16, majority of the Crips, majority of the Bloods, they want to be Wheatley Courts.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Y'all held it down like that.
He done done that year. He ready now.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you know,
And you stood on that even early on. You stood on that.
But see, he
You
finished.
stood on Wheatley Court even in juvenile. Wow.
I stood
Yeah.
on Wheatley Courts today.
See, yeah. See,
Like that.
after he did them 52 weeks, so you know about them 52 weeks, right?
It's like, but we still respect it. We know it's real.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you know, we kind of became the big kahunas in the city.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No cut.
No cut.
That's no cut. Now,
What
whatever-
happened? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whatever you do, and that's how you get the respect. I'm not UBN. I'm not bloodline. I'm this who we are, and we running it just like that. Whoever won it. You know what I'm saying? The shotgun Crips said they was the first ones that ever said, we anybody killers. Y'all Crips bring it, Pyrus, Bloods bring it, we will, anybody come to Gardenia, y'all getting it.
Wow.
Damn, what the hell?
I want to ask you, like, even going into that 16, we talked about that. How old was you when you first went to the big house?
So when I was 16,
Okay.
I ended up getting a murder case
Okay.
and ended up going being certified as an adult juvenile. I was 16.
They tried you as an adult.
Tried me as an adult.
Unfit juvenile.
But let me go back.
Okay.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Crips and Bloods had exploded, right? The summer just hit. We just squashed a small war, right? And so concerts coming, you know, and the homies like, we're not going because we just squashed the war, so they're not moving, you know. But I say I'm going because, you know, ain't nobody gonna stop me from going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like it ain't happening. You know what I mean? And so let me tell you the lineup: DJ Quick,
Want to be like Compton, San Antonio.
MC Breed, Second to None.
Second to none.
I want to say an artist out of San Antonio called PKO.
Okay.
Right. When you hear those names, right? Like what comes to mind? When you hear those names, what comes to mind?
Gang banging.
Bloods.
Bloods. Right.
DJ Quick, for sure.
It's almost, you know, they say Second to None, like one of them was a Blood, right?
Right.
They said,
Quick.
Quick was a Blood, you know. They say MC Breed was a Blood, you know, that's what they were saying, you know.
That's
So it's
Breed.
like a blood party now, right? Well, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But we all know when sets get together and be that deep, what happened?
Man, it's going to be some problems.
Shit happens, right? So I got to go. So what I do? I go get my uniform,
Wow.
right? I know it because I want to go see Quick, man. Quick was jumping. Good
Boy.
music. MC Breed, Second None, they was jumping. We don't, you know.
Yes, sir.
So I go get my uniform, right? So what I got to do? I got to look like them.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this in no boasting manner. I'm just trying to show you a young, sick, corrupt mind,
Correct.
Okay.
right? I'm with the shits, right? I go get me some white 501s, red shirt, red chucks, red bandanas. Yeah. And back then we used to put stuff on our shirts, right? You know. So, I got a little popper right here on the front. You know, and then in the back, guess what it say? It ain't like that.
Huh?
Ooh, it ain't like that.
It ain't like that. Okay.
Because, you know, everybody going to think you're blood.
Okay.
You know? And so I go there, you know, before I go, you know, I got to get me 2 boxes of shells, you know, and because I know.
2 boxes.
I know.
It's getting ready to be some corruption.
I know what it is.
Okay.
You know? And just like I figured. You know, and it wasn't really on me, but I'm gonna go back to, remember I was telling you about the laws that you're given when you're young?
Yeah.
I take a brother from another neighborhood, right? Considered with the blue flag, right? You know, let's say that, you know, the blue side of things. Cause I had some extra tickets, you know, I'm like, hey, go, you know. And we get there and something happened up in there to where he get into it with, basically he's yelling on the stage, you know, and one of the brothers at him yelling on the stage, you know, disrespectful stuff, you know what I mean? And it jumped off like that. You know the law. If they come with you,
They gotta leave with you.
so, you know. But I'm about that action.
Yeah, at that time it's
I'm about that
it's
action.
go mode at all time.
I'm about that action, you know. So, you know, I move like I move. And unfortunately, a young man lost his life right there.
That was in 93?
That was in 91.
91, yeah. Quick come through here just like Texas. Somebody got killed at the concert.
Yeah, he said. Yeah, that's when he was doing that song. I in San Antonio. It's just like
just like
Unfortunately, you know, that's a young little papa, 16 years old.
wow. At 16 years old, and how did they find out it was you? I just skipped through the.
It was a
whole
100 people.
Yeah.
100
Oh, they
people in
seen
the parking
that.
lot, you know what I mean? Like what he said in the song, like, you know, that ain't really necessarily what happened. You know, he just made a song.
Right.
But that song, pretty much, he was rhyming about what had happened when he came to San Antonio at that
yes,
time.
Sir.
That I did not know that, man. That's crazy.
As he's
That's what I
saying
did 23
it,
years
I'm
ago.
listening to it. Quick.
Yeah. He wrote that rhyme after he left her, and he told a story
He
about
goes
San
just like-
Antonio,
yeah, San
and that was
Antonio.
when you went to see him that night.
That's
what I did
right.
23 years for.
You did 23 years.
Man got killed in the concert, just like San Antonio's, just like Compton.
And so, let's walk me up to the point of you accepting this time and how they hand it to you. Because, you know, when you done face time, you know it's a process.
Yeah.
So, this happened, do they pick you up that night or
No,
do you run?
they don't pick me up that night. A few days later, they pick me up. You know, they ask me about, you know, I never give no statements.
Right.
You know, I don't have no story to tell. It's either I'm going to jail, you know, or let me go. I don't
Yeah.
have no statement. I don't make statements.
Anything you say can.
I don't make no statements. It's either I'm going to jail or you let me go. That's the law. That's the law today.
Wow.
So they let me go. They came back
I love it.
about a month, 2 months later. Then they got a warrant because they didn't have no warrant, right? And so then I got locked up after that. Yeah.
Wow.
Went to juvenile.
Oh, you went to juvenile just for a minute till your
Yeah.
trial came. How long was you in juvenile before you had to go to court?
I was in juvenile, I believe 3 months before I got certified as an adult.
Okay, there you go.
Young fool, not really knowing the consequence of my actions, but understanding that this is the rite of passage. If I gotta go to prison, I'm going. I gotta stay down, I'm going. You know, when I come home, we celebrate. That's just how the effed up culture is.
Yeah.
You know, when you go and, you know, if you stay down, when you come home, they celebrate you. You know, but not knowing the full impact of that.
Wow.
A kid, we just out here running wild. I didn't stop. You know, I did 10 months, made bond, went back at it. It didn't stop.
Wow.
You know? So then I ended up getting more time.
You got more
for
time.
other crimes.
Yeah. So when you go to court, what time did they come at you with first? Because they
Came
come with
40 years.
They came automatically 40.
Automatically 40 years.
And how did you digest that? What did you say to your court appointed?
No, I had a paid lawyer.
You had a paid lawyer. What did you say to her?
I take it.
The 40.
Yeah, because when they explained it to me, the 40 years, like, man, you do 10 years, you can come home, right?
Right.
Nah.
Because it's aggravated?
Yeah. You come up for parole in 10 years.
Yeah, that's right.
You see what I mean? Young kid, you'd be in, you know, like, what, 10 years? Like, you know, it's nothing, you know what I mean? But it's not you coming home, is you come up for parole.
Eligible.
Who educated you on not to take that 40?
Well, my big brother, he was like, man, don't take that 40, man. We gonna keep putting this money on it. We gonna, you know. But I'm like, look, man. In the past, we deal with people that's in the streets, right? And you know, you can ask them to live the street code, right? Code of silence. But when you go to a concert, then you're dealing with the streets and civilians.
That's right.
You can't ask no civilian to keep the street code.
That's right.
Right? And so now you got, you know, a number of civilians, they gon' do what civilians do.
That's right.
Where if they scared of you, they sure enough gonna testify. Right? They ain't gonna be scared of you and not testify, right? They, you know, so, you know, I couldn't beat it, you know, and so I was like, man, I'll take, you know, 40, man. You're like, nah, man, like, no. I'm like, bro, like, man, look at the lineup. I don't even know who these people are.
Right.
It'd be a difference if it was the streets, all these street names.
These
But
citizens.
you know, so it's like, nah, man, I can't fight it, you know. And then by this time I had, you know, got other cases as well, you know what I mean? So it's like, we're gonna give you 40 years, we're gonna run it all CC, you know. And then I was like, okay, I'll take the 40 years, right? So we go to court, but my lawyer say, hey, but I'm gonna keep you out about another year. Pre-hearing investigation, you know, we're gonna set it up, we're gonna do some tests, you know, we're gonna, you know, I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know, all right. But when we go take the plea bargain, the DA say, so the judge accept the plea bargain, the 40 years. I got a 40-year cap. He can give me up to 40 years. He could give me 10 or whatever. But we'll do the hearing. So the DA say, and since you accepted the plea, I recommend you take his bonds until sentencing. I'm like, what? Like, and the judge say, I grant that. I damn near passed out.
So yeah, okay. Look, Papa, let's take this on back to when you did that year. Whatever happened to your dope, man?
What?
They quality.
Man, look here, man. Look here.
You didn't get to sell it.
Man, look here. Man, look here, man. Look, that dope got smoked.
It got smoked.
That dope got smoked. That dope got smoked, man. Look,
Oh my goodness.
Where we from, dope get smoked, man. You know
That's
what I'm
right,
saying?
that's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, man, that's crazy. I thought maybe you did that 52 weeks and got your stash and
No. But within that time of doing that time in Texas, in TYC, remember it had exploded, right? And I'm gonna tell you one of the most. I always say this because, like I said, I got a respect for every neighborhood, every set. Like, it's real. You know, when I was locked up, I had this one brother come from this neighborhood, and he telling me this story about how he got into it with our neighborhood, right? Now he just telling, like, joking, like, man, we got into this neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Bang, 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 bang. I'm like, what? But he, he telling like a joke, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah. But in me, I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, when I get out, they gonna feel it. Everybody, we going all the way to the top. They gonna feel it. And so the day I got out, I told my partner when I seen him, the day I got out in the projects, when I jumped out the car, I said, hey, what's up? The story wasn't all the way true,
Yeah.
right? But I said, don't worry about it now. You know, we gonna stack these bodies up. We gonna stack them up. Don't worry, do what you want to do. You know, and that's the mindset that I had, that I was gonna take it for the hood. So whatever time that I got, I was gonna accept it. Whoever was lost, you know, in my dealings, I was gonna accept.
Wow.
That's how young, corrupt the mind was.
Wow.
Young fool. I'm talking about a young fool. I accepted it.
Wow.
I'm taking this for the hood.
Wow.
But they gonna feel it. So when I tell you, by the time I'm 16, yeah, we the big kahunas now.
So you went into that, when you took the 40 years, going back to that, you went into that situation with a mindset of really not no regular 16-year-old. You was going in with
But by the time I took the 40, I'm 18.
Oh,
Right?
oh.
So I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, it's nothing. I'm like, I'm gonna do this 10 years. Like, it's my rite of passage. When you come up in these communities, man, this culture, man, we have a rite of passage. If you get caught, you stay down. You don't rat. You come home, we celebrate. That's the culture that we, right? You get caught, you rat. Don't ask me what happened to rats.
Wow. When you get ready to go in at 16, let's talk about that. You go. What unit did you hit first?
First I hit Gaza. Then
you hit Gaza.
Then I hit Turl. And Turl unit was probably one of the hardest units at the time.
Yeah, it used to be the one.
It's
It used
death row
to be the
now.
one.
But you know, but again, my mindset is I'm at the Wheatley courts. This the way I'ma live, and this the way I'ma die.
What about Garza? Garza was a transfer facility at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
Gaza was hard, man.
I know. Mostly Hispanics, right?
Yeah. Gaza was hard because it's like you got so many new people that's coming to prison that don't know the rules and regulations. So it's like a lot. Wow, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no structure, you know. And then coming out of San Antonio, like I say, we got it hard because it ain't that many of them.
It ain't hardly none of y'all going down there ripping San Antonio.
So when we see a bus coming out of Dallas, man, we celebrate. We know it ain't gonna be nothing but some brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, coming out of Houston, we like, man, come on. But then they switched the routes up to where Houston was going somewhere else and Dallas was going somewhere else, man. So we thin.
The Hispanic down there, boy, they ready for all the action, right?
And you know, and the Hispanic community, they on this what you call respecto. Hey, respecto, homeboy. You disrespect me, you know what I mean? So they get it big when it's a lot of them too, you know what I mean? So you gotta, you know, it ain't as easy as you would think it'd be, you know what I mean?
No, you can't even think it'd be easy.
Yeah, but you live through it though.
On the Terror unit, you had to stay there. That's like that was like at that time, was it a gladiator farm? Was it bad as Ferguson, or was Ferguson even a thing at that time?
So Terror unit was worse than Ferguson because Ferguson, they came from Ferguson. They came from there. They came from other units.
Yeah, you said Darrington?
Terrell was a new unit. So they was coming from all over the mixing pot. Yeah.
Wow. And how long did you stay on the Terrell unit?
I stayed over there about a year.
Okay.
So in the midst of me staying over there, they did a big shipment again. Because it was just too many youngsters. So they shipped us all over the state. Then I ended up going to Cofield.
Yeah.
Cofield. And Cofield was an older unit.
That's right.
You know, which make it more dangerous.
Yeah. I want to ask you something, OG. You in Texas, they shipping from place to place. They don't want you to get comfortable. For a while, they was doing that real regularly. In San Quentin, or when you was doing time, wasn't no moving around like that, or was it just you go to one facility and you?
Well, see, when I went to prison, you had to be 25 or older to go to San Quentin.
Okay.
And then you had a certain range. San Quentin was called the warehouse. When you done everything you could, DVI was called Gladiator School. Soledad, that's AYA. I got stabbed in Tracy in DVI. And then when I caught the case and went to San Quentin, I was one of the youngest in San Quentin. I came straight out of Youth Authority and went to San Quentin. And it's a different type of momentum. So once San Quentin is like, you didn't tow up every other penitentiary. Now everybody in San Quentin is killers. Homosexuals, sissies, everybody in there is murder suspects. You dig what I'm saying? Wow. So it's not like, you got this kind of guy. When you say something, when you say F a man in the morning, somebody gonna die this afternoon. Because your homeboys ain't gonna like it, my homeboys ain't gonna like it. Somebody either got to die or get off the yard. That was, Compton, California was called murder capital of the world in 1973. And it had 20 dead bodies. All of them wasn't killed in Compton, but they were found, and it was murder. In San Quentin in 1973, we had 189 stabbings and 12 killings in a year. Murder capital of the world. Nobody had a gun. It was so vicious at that time, dudes would say, man, can you bring me some bread from the chow hall? Because they wasn't coming out. Hell no, I ain't coming out this cell. So it's in his dispensation, we got 52 prisons in California now. We got more prisons, actually prisons. And, we got 250,000 inmates. Wow. They call them inmates because when I was in prison, we was convicts.
Yeah.
An inmate is they don't call them prisons anymore, they're institutions.
Yeah.
So they maintain you mentally to become an inmate. You feel what I'm saying? So they section stuff off, and just like in California, Mexicans run the penitentiary.
But inmates, here they turned to offenders. I remember that time. You remember that? Mm-hmm. So they went from inmates, because that would be on your card, to offenders on that blue card with the orange, with the red writing on it. You remember that when they first did
with
that?
With the red writing.
Yeah, you remember that card. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when you basically get in there and basically the politics going on, with it being so many Crips and Bloods, and you being a leader, but y'all being so small, how do you maintain and how do you thrive?
You got to stand on what you stand on. You got to stand on what you stand on. And one of the best things about life is,
pull up to the mic a little bit.
One of the best things about life is that no matter what room you go in, if you be you, you're gonna be respected. If you go in that room and try to change, like if I would have went to prison and became a Crip or became a Blood, a Texas bad boy, a Mandingo warrior, it would have been different. I wouldn't have stood on what I stood on. Because when I left the world, what I say? We was the big kahuna. So no matter where I go, that's what I'm gonna be.
Right.
Wow.
What's realer than that? I'm not saying that that's not real over there or that's not real there. I'm saying what's realer than this? We can have that conversation. Because I'm standing on what I'm standing on.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about standing on what I'm standing on with my homeboys. I'm talking about I'm standing on what I'm standing on with me. I ain't no big bad dude, nothing like that. But I'm standing on what I'm standing on.
Right.
Wheatley Courts.
How young was you? I mean, how big was you being 16 and going, or 18 and going to prison? Was you? Because you're not no big guy.
I was a little old bitty thing.
Buck 05. But you had that heart.
Man, look, and let me tell you something. I ain't had no little man complex neither. It's just they couldn't see where I'm a giant.
Right.
I'm a giant. Been a giant all my life, playing sports. Quarterback, point guard. I'm a giant. We winners in these projects. Ain't nobody tougher than us. Ain't nobody better than us. We take that all around the world. And we handle that business just like that.
Who surprised you when you seen him come into prison when you had been in there for about 8 to 10 years? It surprised you, like, damn, I never.
I think
we have those moments.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise, I think, excitement, bring me to tears, is a young brother named Debro.
Okay.
Debro got locked up when he was around 12 years old, got a murder case. And he was a little bitty kid. He was way smaller than me. I remember when I was in juvenile, and he was in juvenile, he couldn't even be on the same part as us. He was so small, right?
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't even sleep in the same unit as us. He was so small.
Wow.
But Lil Boo, Debro, man. And I think he had, at the time when he got his murder case, he was the youngest to get a murder case.
Mm.
And that surprised me the most, because when you see a kid that small, and he a kid, and then next time you see him, he's standing tall.
Wow.
He ain't messing with punks. He ain't riding, he ain't paying. And he's standing on what he stand on.
And he had been down since he was 12?
Since he was 12.
And he transferred over to TDC?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you see him walk in, you say, that's...
Man, I'm like,
but see, like you said, he a killer. He's a killer from infancy.
Yes.
But when you, like you say, when you see us, I mean, what surprised you? I remember when I felt like prison was going the wrong way. Ben came to prison. Ben don't do shit. Ben just in the neighborhood. What the fuck did you arrest Ben for? Then, when you see Ben, what the hell is Ben doing here? Have you seen Ben's?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, you'll see it, but it's not surprising no more, because, by the time I went to prison, you see.
But it's some dudes in your hood that, he was good at getting high and he was good just this, but you never seen him like He ain't the go to jail kind of dude.
No.
Well, y'all got some bad mother.
No. But see, we didn't all gravitate towards towards the violence. That's what I'm saying. So you got guys that gravitate towards just selling drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, somebody robbed, somebody stealing cars, but everybody didn't gravitate towards the violence, but we're gonna protect home base.
Yeah. But see, like I'm saying, you got them kind. Ben would steal your mother's water hose and go sell it back to her. You understand me?
You wasn't gonna do no high profile crime.
Ben would steal plants. That's Ben. Ben do some shit. And then when you see Ben in prison, like, the hell they arrest Ben for?
No, because like I say, when crack hit, bruh, the money, everybody gonna dib and dab.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to
Ben got me in for crack. I was gone all the crack era. I got out in 90. I got out in. I came in with PCP in '79. And then when I got out in 95, I missed all the crack era, majorly. The crack era, then you start seeing dudes come in prison, like, they ain't got no violence. They got possession of crack.
That's right.
What the hell is...
There's another flea
What
flicker.
the hell are
that's
they...
just to keep the prisons full.
Yeah,
it's all a game.
Yeah.
See, that's what people don't like to realize, that everything is a game.
Yeah. It's
just like 48 Laws of Power say, I believe that. Like, everybody's trying to play a game to win the game.
Not only the crack, I don't know if y'all remember, but when I say it exploded, you can go to the pawn shops, the flea markets, and buy guns.
Yeah,
you just
for
go
sure.
buy them. You damn near ain't gotta have no ID. Just look the age. You just buy guns.
That's right.
Buy guns.
Right.
Then, like, right after that, they came out with everybody that was convicted felon that bought a gun.
Right.
They filled the federal penitentiaries up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All of it's a game.
Yeah.
Everything you just said.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy about it, because it's not only a game, but it's a game that we play right into.
Profiteering.
You see what I'm saying?
The economy,
we play right into it.
It's just like we talked about this morning when we were talking about the music business.
Yeah.
And I told you it was still sharecropping.
Yeah. You did.
It ain't changed. It may look different, but when you do a 360 deal or you do a distribution deal, you go in and you owe him more than you. Wait a minute, I did this a whole year, but you had to recoup.
That's right.
You did this, you did that, So by the same token, just like you said, it was a lot of my little homeboys was going in to the gun shops and buying guns. They selling, but the feds is sitting back and the ATF is sitting back letting this guy buy these guns, letting him sell the guns, and going back to your neighborhood and arresting you for the gun you just bought.
Wow.
You bought the gun illegally, but he sold it to me illegally.
I want to ask you a question, man. My boy Ali Sadiq, who be on Boss Talk, shout out. He has this joke that he does, because around the 90s he was locked up, and I, man, first time Faison told me about the joke, I didn't even put the joke to Ali, right? And it was Mexican got on boots. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he say when he first when he went, I think I sent it to a few people. When he first went in, he didn't know what that mean, and he said, "Nigga ran up to me, man, the Mexican got on boots," and he said he just said to somebody, "Man, you heard Mexican got on boots? Give me a Mexican got on boots story where because I got them." Everybody that been in there got them when you had them steel toe boots. We had them steel toe boots, and we knew when you put them boots on that it about to go down with either somebody individually, like I told you earlier, or it's about to be a riot or something.
Right.
Give me a boot situation where strapping up became a thing.
Yeah. So I remember one time we was like in the lockup section.
Okay.
We was on lockdown, right?
Yeah, Johnny Sachs.
And but before you go in there, they take all your property, they take your boots and stuff, and then when we get in there, because it's always gonna be divided, when you go in there, when you go up in there, we're like, man, over here, they're gonna let you know over here, right? And then you look across the tank, and you see about 5 or 6 boots over there. I'm like, man, hold on, man, how they get these boots in here? You know what I mean? Because we can't have, they take all our boots. We're like, how they get them boots over there? You know what I mean? Like, it's all corrupt.
It's bad because it ain't no but them guards.
Ain't no
man.
brothers got no boots over here, but then they got 5, 6 power over there. Be like, man, hold on, how they get these boots in here?
Right.
And then I remember one morning we wake up And we had this young brother, you know, he was claiming a set, right? And but he was a troublemaker, man. The man really will get you killed.
Yeah,
you know?
It's dudes like that.
And so the politics is, you know, if you're a blood, you're a blood. If you're a loc, you're a loc. You know what I mean? And so you don't get in their business. You know what I mean? But when it becomes a black and a Hispanic thing, it's like, hold on now.
There's a difference.
Hold on now. Because you can't let it go down like that.
At all.
You know what I mean? So now he didn't got into it. Wake up, he didn't got into it with one of his Mexican blood partners, right? And about a book, right? You know, we read these books, and we on lockdown, so you know, man, you taking too long to read the book. Man, you supposed to be finished with the book. You know what I mean? So they get, you know, and they get into they ain't really had no scuffle, but a little pushing match, right? But the pushing match is from one of the ranking members' nephews. He one, you know, but he a blood, you know what I mean? So when we wake up that morning, they got on boots. Like, man, hold on, what? You know, you're like, man, hold on, what? Man, he ain't even woke us up. You know what I mean? So we're like, man, hold on, man, what? You know what I mean? So, and we find out, man, it's politics, man. I hate prison. Man, I can sit here and tell you about prison, man, and you would think that I love it. You would. Man, we can do movies, sitcoms, soap operas, and you be like, man, prison. But I'm telling you, I hate prison because of the politics.
Right, every day.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Politics, man. Like, nah. First of all, I ain't never been black in my life. I always been me. You know, so man, when we come up in the projects, whoever we with, that's who we with, right? Now we know what color we are because that's who we with. But when you go down there, now you got to.
You got to centralize
now
with
you're
color.
associated with some brothers that you know you wouldn't almost spit on, as they say.
For survival.
You know what I mean? It ain't just about survival, but it's just about that's just the politics.
No. The only reason I said survival, like I tell you about the Hispanic guy that stabbed Tory Lanez the other day. And if that happened in a Texas prison when I was going, I can only speak for me.
You're gonna riot.
It's bad.
Right.
Remember I told you that. It don't matter who he with, what he done, none of that. All that. That's why when them boots was on that next day, when you see them Hispanic put them boots on, you know your life could be
out. But the politics part of it too is, you know, man, you got some brothers that are green light you.
Yeah. That's the dirty part.
You got some brothers that are green light you. Mm-hmm. I ain't green like nobody, man. I ain't green like no brothers, man. Right. You know why? Because they ain't green like Nez, man.
No. See, that's hard right there. That's
they ain't gonna let no nigga. They not gonna let no nigga kill. They not green like Nez.
No. Yeah.
So how I'm a green like mine?
That don't make no sense at all.
But you got some brothers.
That's now that's politics.
That's why I hate prison. I hate prison.
Yeah.
I hate prison.
Yeah.
Well, they do the same, and they got the same politics on the street, though. You dig what I'm saying? Especially in Cali, we'll do something to each other, but when it comes to somebody else, well, man, you know, we gotta think. Just like you said, what happened? Some brothers tried to get out and they tried to rectify, but like when I grew up in prison, you do something to a black, no matter what it is, it's 6 for 1. That's how we carry stuff. Now it's politics. He ain't my homeboy. Oh, well, man, he ain't from my set. You know.
And then you gotta also remember the world changed again. So now, you know, I'm gonna say this: we all niggas now. So when you say, "What do you think about the nigga word?" What do you think about, like, what do you mean? Like we don't know nothing else. We don't know nothing about the professionalism of being black or being African American. We don't know nothing about that. We just know about being niggas. Who with us? And whoever with us, whether they Mexican, white, Chinese,
that's what it's changed to now.
Yes, it's
that's what it's
a
changed
commonplace
to now.
word. Niggas ain't just us.
So it's like,
you know. But then we have to understand the negativity until you don't hear Mexicans calling each other donkey riders.
They call each other niggas though.
We ain't call each other niggas.
That's right.
But my point is, you don't hear Chinese call each other zipper heads. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear Jews calling each other geeks and this and that, but we use the word, not everybody use it. And now you get mad if a Mexican call you or a white boy call you a nigga. But we say it different. It's the same indication. If I disrespect me and I disrespect you, how you think a world goes? Because respect is power. If you respect, the only way people respect you if they know you'll kill them. If I don't respect you, I'm gonna test you. First, I'm gonna put my hands on your shoulder, then I'm gonna then I'll slap you upside the back of the head. If I don't stop when you first touch me, give a nigga an inch, he'll take a mile.
So I'm on both ends of the spectrum. You know, if we in a room and it's nigga, it's nigga. And if I go in a room and somebody feel offended by using the word, then I try to refrain from it.
Yeah, we shouldn't use it at all. Yeah,
that's respect.
I've been trying to pull back from it. He bring me into it every time. Bring me into. So what you doing, Papa? What you doing out here on the street today?
No, I don't want to go fast forward because I want to get him out of prison. Let me go back into that.
He out of prison.
No, he not.
We just took the boots off.
No, I get that, but I want to walk him to the day he gets out and the changes out here in the world, right? Like once you've done all of that time, things are changing constantly.
So what happened when the Mexicans had the boots and blood got y'all in it? How did y'all get out of that?
The politics come into play. Then you're gonna figure out who right, who wrong. Then you feel like, you know, the consequences. The brother was wrong. The consequences, he got to go get in the Cadillac.
Okay.
You know what the Cadillac is, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So
I don't.
The Cadillac is like a part of the back part of the part where the bunks is there. You go back there, and you got to get like 2 brothers or 3 brothers go back there, and you
DPM.
That's it. Same thing. There you go.
Depends on how bad it is. You get to swing back.
That's right.
Depends on how, if it's not that bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then it just depends. What the politics.
Okay, DPA, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, once you in there, you lose people. You know, I interviewed Sh00ting Jr. And I often tell this story how he lost Sh00ting. People don't realize this, but he lost his he lost his mother first, then he lost his granddaddy, then he lost Sh00ting. But he lost his mother and his father in a car wreck. He only was gone 4 years, but that was a big change to lose Sh00ting. And then to lose the mama during that same time. How many people did you lose going through that situation?
Man, I lost my best friend within the first 6 months of being locked up. Lost my cousin, CeeLo, first year of being locked up. A few years later, I lost Mario. I lost quite a few people.
Lost a lot of people.
But,
did your granny survive through?
My granny survived through my change.
Okay.
Okay.
She seen the change.
But you were out when she.
No, I wasn't out.
You weren't out, but
I wasn't out, but she see the change though. Last time she came to see me, she was just like, "Man, this is my last time being able to see you." And I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, and I said, "What the doctor say? The doctor said I'm gonna live forever." But I'm like, "Well, that's what we going with." But for the next 2 weeks, I cried like a baby. I'm talking about boo-hoo. And I ain't never like, and I guess that's what it was. Like, man, I ain't gonna see my granny no more. I'm like, and I was like, but this, and it was like I had to get it out.
Yeah.
Because had I not got it out, I wasn't gonna be able to operate. You know what I mean? And then she passed on.
And at this time, you had changed a lot.
Yeah, I had already changed.
How long had you been locked up at that time?
I had done about 20 years.
Yeah, did 20. So it was okay. About 20.
So when you say you changed, what does that contain? What's the change? You start going to church and carrying a Bible.
Yeah.
So when I first went to prison, I told my pops, I said, "Look, pops, I ain't going here. I ain't grabbing no Bible. I ain't talking about no Jesus, no Muslim, no nothing. I'm a gangster. I'm going through the fire. If I come out on the other side of the fire, I can do what I want to do." Right? And so about after 20 years, I was at the top of the shit here in prison. Brewster will tell you.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He told me you pretty much running everything in the prison.
The officers having sex, free world food. I'm at the top of the shit here. I ain't worried. I never thought I was getting out.
I ain't never been that high.
I ain't never thought I was getting out.
Having sex and eating street food.
Oh yeah, that happens in there.
You're a bad man.
I never thought I was getting out.
And it was huge. We knew it was a big. We respected the fact that
they had them like
power.
Yeah, that's man.
And so I was loving it, but I had a God experience.
Okay.
Now this is what I want to tell you. This is my experience. You can say whatever you want to say. Your experience may not make no sense to you, but I'm telling you my little experience, right? I'm in a cell. I got cell phones, I got drugs, I got tobacco, I'm money, I'm living. It's beautiful. And God came by my cell.
Wow.
And he said, "Come or forever be lost." And I'm like, "What?" I'm tripping. Like, man, you see what's going on? But more importantly, God, you see this heart? It's black. It's evil. It's vengeful. I said, "Man, you sure it's me? It's me you talking to, man. You tripping now, And he said, "Come." And I told him, just like I'm talking to y'all, I said, "God, if you don't change this heart right here, it ain't happening." Because I'm living in prison right now. But if you let me out today, somebody's going to get killed in 24 hours. That's how I like it.
Wow.
I want them to feel it, yeah, you know. Because, you know, some things had happened since I've been locked up. You know, we lost some homies and stuff
Correct.
like that. You know
Yeah.
But that was on my mind. If I'm gonna be free, oh yeah, 24 hours, yeah, I gotta have me somebody. And I say, God, that's what kind of hard. You know it. You know what the business is. So if you don't take that, it ain't gonna work, man.
Wow.
And he said, yeah. And I say, God, listen, I've been a lion all my life. A lion. I say, you asked me to become a sheep? Now think about it. That has to be one of the scariest things in the world. For a lion to become a sheep. We've been eating them all our lives. It's not going to change. If I come a sheep, what the lion's going to do?
Eat you up.
But the difference is, I told God, I said, God, the lion's got to eat. He said, go to Proverbs. I go to Proverbs. I go to the day room and I tell my partners, I say, hey man, look man, it's over for me, man. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah man, I'm gonna do this God thing. Like, what? They like, nah, you tripping? Like, because I was so revered at that time, they thinking I got a big plate. Like, man, this nigga got a big plate. This nigga got a big plate. Man, pick me in, man, you know. And I'm like, no, bro, it's real. But they thinking I got a big plate. The youngins, man, pick me in. People steady trying to give me their money. Man, I know you got a big plate coming through. No, it's 18 wheeler coming through here, man. Finna drop. And I'm like, no, man, it's real. Because I had played the game so strong.
Yeah.
So when I read Proverbs, they're like, man, what's that? And I say, that's wisdom. But they thinking it's some kind of game behind, like, how can I use this to, you know? And I say, man, this is the truth, you know? And every day I would come out, I would read a proverb. Until where they start to say, look how, Papa, what's the word of the day? And I always had a word of the day. So what God do?
Wow. Start changing.
Instead of feeding the sheep, he fed them his word.
Wow.
Because they don't believe. When you change, nobody believes you change, man.
Nobody.
You don't change where we from.
That's right.
It's all about what happened for you to go back to who you used to be. So every day, God built me up and got me stronger.
That's hard. I like that.
I said yes. On that first day, I said, yes, Lord. I said, God, you going to have to carry me. I ain't all that holding on to you, man. I ain't going to be able to hold on to you. You going to have to hold on to me. You want to carry me.
They say, was there any time when they laughed at you and said you wasn't, oh, that man, somebody said he putting on. Somebody to come from another unit, you know what I'm saying, that knew you back over here when 5 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, they laughed. Yeah, they laughed. They laughed. That's why God had to build me up.
So you could deal with it.
Because all the stories that they're hearing, right, is the player stories, the dope story, the squad, the cell phone, the officers. You know, man, I had the finest girl on the unit, man. 22 years, man. Look, I'm getting it in. So it's like they laugh, but you know, let them laugh.
Wow.
God, God built me up.
So a lot of and your grandmother got to see that.
She got to see that,
and that was important for you.
That was important for me.
Wow. So she dies. Now you getting ready to come home. 3 years later?
4 years later.
4 years later. You getting ready to come home 4 years later. What are you coming home to after doing 20, you know what I'm saying, after doing 24 years straight, or 23 years later? What are you coming home to?
I want to say, before I came home, I got some inspiration.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to just name one. I had a young brother, came through the unit, you know, by the name of Keiston Brewster.
Okay.
By the time he got to the unit, I was transitioning to something new, right? But you hear the stories, you know. You hear the stories, you know. And so I would go to the rec yard, and the young brother would say, man, Pop, man, tell me some of the story, man, you know, because I was a live wire, right? And I'm like, man, look, Bruce, let me tell you something, bro. I'm trying to get blessed by God, man. I can't tell them old stories, man. Man, just tell me, you know, man, listen, bro. I'm trying to get blessed by God, man. It's something new, man. I ain't tell. So I would never go back down stories, you know. And he'd be out there working, I getting swole. Man, oh, man, I be hurting him. Man, look at him. I'm writing a book. You're writing a book. Man, you tripping. Right.
Shout out to Boss Man.
And he writing a book. Shout out to Keiston Brewster, man, the boss man, man. Yeah, I'm writing like, yeah. And he was telling me he was writing a book, man, get it together. I'm like, man, look, but by this time I'm a full-fledged Christian.
Yeah.
I'm probably Jesus drunk. One of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. You know how I used to laugh at people, Jesus drunk, man, nigga, Jesus drunk. Boy, look here. When it's on you, you got to know what you're gonna stand on.
Yeah.
Because when I was in them streets, I knew what I stood on. I knew the law, right? And so when he get out, he write me a letter. Man, I need you to write something, you know? But remember, when he left, I'm telling him like, bro, I'm really doing this. And I write him a letter and I tell him like, look, I can write you a story in such a way where I ain't hitting you over the head with no Bible. I ain't gonna be Christian is, Christ is, you know what I mean? I can write you a story, you know? And so when I sent him that letter, he ended up putting parts of what I wrote in his book, From the Rec Yard to the Streets, you know? And the part that I wrote for that book was, what's the difference between donkeys and thoroughbreds? Donkeys, when they get threatened and have problems, they put their asses together and start kicking each other in the butt. When thoroughbreds, on the other hand, have problems, they put their heads together and kick out at the threat. Now, what you want to be? You want to be a donkey ass nigga, or you want to be a thoroughbred nigga?
That's right.
And that's still to this today.
Wow.
Where I'm at, we thoroughbreds. We're gonna put our heads together. When something go wrong, we're not gonna be putting our asses together and start kicking each other in the ass. That's what donkey ass niggas do. And so that was my inspiration, just to even see him put some of my writings in a book. Because remember, you finna write no book, man. You tripping. What you finna do? Oh, no, it ain't happening, man. You know. So that was inspiration that people could change and that you could go in that way and be successful. And so that was probably one of my biggest inspirations as far as going in the right direction, you know. But what I had to come home to, my dad, throughout these years, my dad was re-raising me. Even in my mess, he was re-raising me. Wouldn't do nothing wrong. When I was getting that money, and I sent him that money. Say one time he got a check, and he said, hey, man, what are you doing? The pastor sent me a check. You know, like, what are you know? But the white boy that was, buying the dope, his parents died, and the pastor was over his money. So all he had to do is say, right, the pastor, hey, man, I just sent $500,000 over here. And the pastor would do it because it's his money.
Yeah.
But my pop was like, man, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm in the craft shop.
He's just trying to show love to your pops.
No, that was my money. He didn't need my money.
He was putting it up for you?
Yeah, man, listen. I want you to be honest with me. If I gave you $100,000 right now, I'm going to say outside of your wife, because I know she's right here. I don't know who you know, but outside of who you maybe they want, who can you trust with it?
With $100,000?
Cash.
Nobody but me.
You see? So when you get money and you send it to the world, right? You got to have somebody you can trust. Or they going to keep using, and they can't give it back.
That's right.
So my pops didn't need no money. He was good. So I just sent him, he put it up. But he got to the point like, no, I got to come see you, son, because I ain't square. I squared up, but I ain't square. And he said, hey, man, I ain't doing this here no more.
He's trying to figure out what the hell going on with this
money. So I had to get
money.
another route.
He didn't have to figure it out. He knew what was going on.
Yeah, I ain't going back to no penitentiary for you, man. I don't know what you doing. So I had to figure out another route. You know what I mean? So my pops was good. So my pops had worked for a company maybe like at 20 years, 25 years. He's like, son, if you come to Houston, my grandmother asked me to go to Houston before she died. Man, go to Houston, man. Your dad ain't nothing in San Antonio. Like, you don't have nothing. Man, go to your dad, And I was like, oh, okay. Because my grandmother asked, I was like, okay, I'll do it.
So you paroled out to Houston?
I paroled to Houston.
Wow.
Dad had everything set up for me, a job, the house. I didn't have to pay no bills, nothing like that. So, I was good. Good landing board.
And he had your money.
Yeah.
So, and when you come home, what was it? Things had changed. Everything had changed. You come home. How was it just being home, being free after all those years?
So my first day of being free, first of all, when I made parole, I didn't believe it. God had gave me a vision of me being free. After 20-something years, I had never had a vision of being free. And he was like, don't tell nobody. All right. I went to parole. they end up telling me I made parole. My wife ended up telling me I was like, man, who told you that? You like, you know?
Your wife.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. I was like, man, I ain't made no parole, man. Trip. Who told you that? Like, don't worry about it. So I didn't believe it. Because in my mind, man, they got an FBI file. They look at when you go to parole. They got cold cases. I ain't even worried about it. Like, they ain't not finna let me out. I just didn't believe it.
Wait a minute, you got to back up, Papa.
That wife thing. That's what that wife thing.
Well, come on, how you get a wife up in the penitentiary? I ain't had a girlfriend.
Okay, so
in 25
that's right.
years.
I was thinking that, but
after I changed my life, right? I gave up my girlfriends, and this next girl, I was like, you know, I got married. So from like,
so she popped up in a vision too, Papa?
No, she didn't pop up in the vision.
Okay, well, come on, give it to me, bro. Let me see.
You know,
cheating on the game, right?
Yeah. You know, you got to be respectful for the new wife, you know.
Yeah.
But
was she a guard in the prison?
No, she wasn't a guard. She's a girl I used to have when I was young.
Okay.
You know, she
So
was.
you
had a girlfriend when you was young.
Yeah.
So you, okay.
She didn't have
she was older, and she was like really basically she was the number one girl if you ask me in the hood.
Okay.
Right. In our whole circle, she was like one of the number one girls, right?
That's hard.
And so
she seen you in your motivation in the
when
street.
she came back around, I was like, man, she a good girl. I remember her, you know what I mean? But so I married her, and because I'm living a new life now.
Wait a minute, how you just can't say she came back around, bro? Tell us what the hell happened. After 20 years, she ain't just come back around.
So before the
That's
conversion, before the conversion, right? I'm on the cell phones.
Okay, come on with it.
Back then we didn't have phones in prisons.
No.
It wasn't. We didn't have state phones.
No.
You know, so I was on cell phones. I'm calling. Hey, man, such say call her. She you be on the phone. When call, I call. Hey, what's up? I ended up talking to her. You know, she always have a good spirit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I ended up talking to her. Then when I had to transition, I was like, man, you gotta leave these girls alone, man. So I left them girls alone, right? One bro, she was like, man, no. She thought I was gonna give her a ring. When I had the big announcement,
Yeah.
you know, I'm telling her to leave her alone. She thought, I mean, I know you gonna give me a ring in it. I was like, nah, I'm through. You know what I mean? I'm through. It's over with. You know what I mean? And so I ended up start talking to her, and we just connected real good. And so it was just for me. It was like I'm a husband.
So was she visiting you in prison?
Yeah, she visited me in prison.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, and so from 2012, 2016, she stayed with me.
Wow,
you know?
stayed down.
Yeah, stayed down. You know, she had to stay down. I was good. You know, but
Hey, she stayed down, though.
Yeah,
Your ass is locked up. She stayed down.
No, it ain't like that.
Yeah, y'all act like y'all don't understand,
I'm saying,
man.
see, you saying it like that, but I'm saying everybody ain't not in that same situation. I had 3 girlfriends in prison. I wasn't missing nothing.
Wasn't missing nothing.
I feel you.
So it's like, you know, but again, I'm doing a new life. So she came down. She took care of her business, you know, and I got out, you know, and I tried to be with her, but she didn't believe that I changed, you know, and so she wanted me to go back to them streets. And like I said, don't believe you change.
Yeah,
So that was the problem. So we didn't make it.
Right.
And so, you know, that's what happened.
So when you come home, parole out to Houston, she moved to Houston too.
Yeah, she was coming to Houston too. Yeah.
So basically, you get down there, and then how long was y'all together before you left her? How long after you got out?
It wasn't even 6 months.
Wasn't even 6
Right.
months.
Wasn't even 6 months.
You knew it wasn't.
It's a no. But see, when a woman deals with you in prison, it's a control factor. Because you can only have, in prison, you only have 15 minutes on the phone. They come and visit you on Saturday or Sunday, and they got the whole week to do what they want to do. But when y'all get straight up with each other, like Mr. Maker asked me, 6 months. Because when I get out, I'm a whole different person than I am in that cage. You dig what I'm saying? We have all these eloquent words, we have poetry, we write all this, but when I get out there on these streets, you got 90 days to shape up or ship out. She used to doing her thing, doing it her way, and I'm locked in and I have a regiment. I fold my socks a certain way, I put my drawers here, and you come and contaminate? Oh no, honey.
Yeah, for me, it's just that, you know, we come out of the culture, you know, and she was still vengeful, you know, and God had took that from me.
Right.
So I couldn't operate like that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? No matter what happened.
Speak on that.
You know, I couldn't, no matter what happened, you know, and a lot of stuff happened. But no matter what happened to her in her life, remember, I didn't know. It's been 20-something years.
Huh.
She's a different person.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, God didn't change me. And remember, I was considered the worst of the worst before I went to prison. Like him, he ain't never getting out, ain't no help for him. You know, and so they don't believe that you change.
Mm-hmm.
She even said it. Nigga, that's just that prison talk, nigga. You know?
Right.
But when I got out and stood on business, you know.
It ain't the same. We talked about serial killers.
Yeah.
You smiling with somebody, you don't know who they really are. They know about you, just about this part. And when they see the other side, they can't, wait a minute, you ain't that who I thought you was. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't who I thought you was either.
So we didn't make it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And,
so you're not married now?
I'm married now. I am married now. Beautiful wife, I'm married now, you know, but with going through the first situation, I went to jail like 4 times. Now, can you imagine going to jail for something you ain't never did?
Yes.
And all the stuff you have done in life?
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? Like all the stuff you have done in life, now you going to jail for something. So it was like, you know, I moved on from that situation. You know, when I was going through that situation, I met my wife now.
Okay.
You know, and it's a
So
beautiful thing.
in going through those, what Christians y'all call trials and tribulations, when you get on this other side and you find yourself back in them contaminations and you start realizing, I gotta 86 this, I gotta get out of this because it's not doing me any good. Okay.
It's gonna end my life. And but before I left prison, God gave me a vision. Right? He gave me a vision that He's gonna send me back to San Antonio. And the spiritual sense is that you're gonna go back and build the holy wall. The natural sense is you're gonna go back and straighten up the stuff you used to mess up in those projects.
Spiritual sense, the holy wall in Nehemiah, book of Nehemiah.
We're gonna send you back. You're gonna build the holy wall up, you know, because we was tearing it down.
Yeah.
Before when I went to prison, I was tearing the walls down, you know what I mean? And so He said, I'm gonna send you back and you're gonna rebuild the wall. And with that vision, my grandmother's face kept coming up. And my grandmother's name is, her nickname is Big Mama.
Okay.
You know, that's my mama that raised me. So I'm like, man, what is Big Mama coming up with this right? And so when I got out, I went to work, started going to school. Then I started my small business. And about my 3rd year in my business,
What kind of business?
I was doing what we call facility maintenance.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's facility maintenance like so Walmart, Forever 21, you know, Foot Locker, you know, Home Depot, you know,
Restocking.
Walgreens. Nah, it's like those companies, right? They have a lot of stores, right?
Right.
But they don't have no maintenance department.
Okay.
So if something goes wrong, they have to call somebody in to fix it. And that's called facility maintenance.
Okay. Okay.
So I was a subcontractor for this big company that has contracts with all these companies and making great money. You know? And so about my 3rd year, I was at like about $175,000.
A year.
Probably with a $25,000 overhead. So I was at $150,000 good. And I told God, just like I'm talking, I said, God, next year, man, I want to be at a quarter with me, you know, in business. It just makes business sense. You know, I got everything on it. He's like, yeah. He said, but I need you in San Antonio. And I was like, yeah, God, but next year, $250,000, you know, because I'm, the business, you know. He said, yeah, but I need you in San Antonio. I said, yeah, God, I'm gonna go down there a little bit more, but this business, the $250,000, like, I gotta, reach that, cause I gotta, steady grow. And he said, I need you in San Antonio. And I say, damn. I said, yes, Lord, in 2012. I can't go back on it because He didn't bless me. So I'm like, damn. So I tell my wife, the one I got now, and I say, man, I gotta go to San Antonio. She's like, what? Are you sure? Like, life is good. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yeah. She's like, man, Pop, you sure that's what you're going down there for? San Antonio is a very vengeful place. And I say, yeah, man, God got me. He gave me the vision before I left. He just, he built me up now.
Where you staying at in Houston?
I'm staying in Houston. I was staying on the north side of 249
okay.
at the time. And he said, it's time to go to San Antonio, man. And so me and my wife came down here. We prayed, circled the block, we found a house that we can rent, and we named it Big Mama Safe House.
I seen that Big Mama Safe House online, man. That's a huge deal.
It's non-profit. I had already started non-profit, One Church, One Soul Ministry, and Big Mama Safe House came up under that. So what we do is we community violence intervention. That's the number one thing we do. We're trying to reduce the gun violence, in the city. And with that, we have wraparound services. We have like a mental health department. We got a small food pantry. We help with utilities, with rent and stuff like that. We just, help the community get everything that they need. We can't do it, but the relationships that we're building, the resources that we're building, we can refer them. And so they trust us, right? When you think about Big Mama, right? You think you can always go to Big Mama, man. You see that? That's the reaction we want them to get when they think about Big Mama Safe House.
That's right.
The smile is good. It's safe here.
Yeah.
You can get something good here. Every time, no matter what it is, you can get the truth.
Wow. I went up to Chicago and went to Fred Hampton Jr.'s, and he had like a refrigerator outside where the homeless people come, and people can come and just get stuff out the refrigerator. And it's something, because I interviewed him in that house where, Chairman Fred grew up, and just what you said about the safe house made me think back to in Chicago over there where they letting people come in, and it's just something about people having a place to go when they don't have nowhere to go. What made you do this, and how does it work?
Yeah. So remember, I said God gave me the vision, right? And so we picked the house and said this is gonna be Big Mama Safe House, because when everybody goes to Big Mama's, man, you always gonna get something good. You can get something to eat, it's a clean place, somewhere to sleep. You always gonna get some wisdom, right? And it's always good. Anytime you think about your Big Mama, it's good. Like, they don't have those kind of women no more. They don't have those kind of women no more.
That's right.
Those grandmothers, they just don't. Right?
Got hoochies now.
When you get that kind of spirit, that's the kind of spirit we want to bring to Big Mama Safe House. But when I started to work, I had a big reality check, because I thought, because I'm from the streets, I am who I am, I can make things happen, I can do what I do. That's true. But what is the root causes of the gun violence? What is the root causes of the gangs? What is the root causes of the cliques? Right? Because the world didn't change now. It's not necessarily the gangs, and what's the cliques now, right? And so what's the root causes of those things, right?
Yes, sir.
And so if you want to have the biggest impact, you got to attack the root causes.
That's right.
And one of the root causes is, man, people out here hungry, man. These kids out here hungry, man. They ain't got no money. They need jobs. They need housing, right? Those are the root causes. The mental health aspect of it, of dealing with it the way we deal with it. Well, it ain't working, man, because it's getting worse. So can we try something new? And so we're looking at things that are working around the country to implement in Big Mama Safe House. So that's why we represent CVI, Community Violence Intervention, right? Trying to reduce the gun violence in our Black and brown youth. That's our mission.
Wow, that's dope, man. What has been some drawbacks coming back into San Antonio that you had to cross some hurdles because, either whether it was the city or whether it was just people who used to know you? What were some of the hurdles that you end up having to cross?
I think the biggest hurdle for me is, one, they don't believe you changed.
Right.
Two, I'm from a neighborhood. I'm out the Wheatley Course. I can't change that. No matter what I do, I can't change where I'm from, right? And three, they don't believe God real.
Wow.
The culture that we come from, they don't believe God real, man.
That's right.
Wow.
So if I say, I had a God experience, right? And something happened, and I rely on the streets, right? They saying, well, I thought God was real. How you coming to us, and you supposed to be relying on God? So you got to be strong. You got to stand on what you stand on.
That's real.
And another big thing is this right here. The world ain't changed in one aspect. It's still neighborhoods, it's still cliques, it's still gangs, it's still violence, it's still guns, it's still drugs. And guess what? Whatever neighborhood you from, you still from that neighborhood. They still having wars and beefs. But who do they look up to as the big brother, the OG? Who you think?
You.
Who you think? From my neighborhood.
From his neighborhood.
Oh,
It would have to be you. If you did the time because we have stories.
It don't have to be.
So,
because I mean, you can look when, like you say, when people see you've changed,
they don't believe it.
The OG.
They don't believe it.
The OG is the old dude that's sitting there, that's riding a bicycle, right? Telling what happened in '79.
That's real.
And he's not. They with you as long as it's profitable. Like you say, what's the lack? If you give one of these youngsters a job, he ain't gonna keep it 90 days because we don't have, our lack is spiritual. When we don't, loyalty is not me and you no more, it's how much money a dude got.
That's what I was going at right there.
A rat can be in your neighborhood and you know he a rat, but if he paying me, I'm with him.
And the thing, and the one thing I want to say is when I say this is the one who they listen to a lot of the time is whether you in God or whether you in the streets, they listening to the money. Mm-hmm. They looking at what somebody got. If you got something,
not this new generation.
Well, if it's this person, if you rolling up in Bentleys and you that man, I don't know. It's an influence there.
Not this new generation.
It's not every. They say for every generation.
Okay, it's different.
There's a change. You dig what I'm saying? The new generation is the downfall of the old generation. I can't hold it, like, you know, a lot of dudes my age, man, I can't talk to these, but you had 30 years of not having me around. Mm-hmm. So you've grown up yourself. They say the blind leads the blind.
That's why I do what I do. You know, because I know, first of all, I influenced, I was one of the influence for them to go in that direction. For the game culture, the gun, the slide, I was a big influence for that. I know that.
Right.
That's why I do what I do.
Right.
The culture now, these kids don't give a damn about no money. If they want something to eat, they want something to eat. If they want something to smoke, they want something to smoke, but they don't give a damn about no money.
None.
They want to slide.
Ain't got no hustle.
Well, I think about it. I don't like, say we got Big X to plug right now, the hottest rapper, period. If he pull up in the hood, them youngsters going and rock with that, man. They not fit. They love him.
Yeah, they love him.
So at the end of the day, when he coming in the hood, he ain't gonna stay, but they gonna respect what he do, who he is, and when he pull up.
Yeah. If he go to his neighborhood.
Correct.
Yeah. But again, if something happens in my neighborhood, right? If something happens in my neighborhood, right? Who do you think they gonna contribute that to?
I don't know.
Who the OG? Who's one of the OGs?
But
who has one of the biggest influence in that community?
But then
when it comes to stripes,
yeah,
I get what
so
you're saying.
If something happens, right? Let's say the neighborhood is blamed for 3 murders.
Right.
One of the biggest things is what they gonna say. Who had them sliding?
Well, I can't even, because in Cali it's a whole different dynamics.
It's a whole different dynamic.
You know, because the OGs, good when they slide, it's some youngsters sliding.
Listen to what I'm telling you. But again,
the police ain't gonna come to me if somebody's sliding unless you working with grid or you working with the police.
The police not gonna come to you, right? But if they do a number of sliding, right, they gonna contribute that to somebody else sending them to slide.
That's right. It's always somebody sending them.
Correct.
And so, who do you think that's sending them? Who they gonna think that's sending them? From my neighborhood. If whatever neighborhood you from, if you the OG, where it's gonna come back to?
It's gonna come back to you. I said that earlier.
You see?
Because of the way it's structured in your neighborhood.
That's one of the biggest things that I have to deal with is that because the world ain't changed. The hood is still the hood.
But and just like you saying that, my prominence in my neighborhood is that anybody could have been me. I'm no better or no worse. At 75, I'm hustling. I retired the first 25 years of life, but we're not friends. We're not buddies. I'm Mr. Kinsey. I'm a grown man. I'm from the hood, but I show you, I gotta work every day. So it ain't me lip services. I'm on Rosecrans every day. So, but you got some dudes some of them 60s, 50, 55, but they went in the house when the street lights come on. They wasn't in San Quentin. They didn't push this when it wasn't popular. But they telling a 15-year-old, man, back in the day, I rode with so. You sitting there, you riding a bicycle not for exercise because you ain't got a license no more. So these are the losers that's putting youngsters up to doing things. So those are the contaminations. And these youngsters look, I had to tell a dude one time, my son and my grandson, I look on the internet, he got them posting up on Pyru, right? But you ain't got your son up there. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, man, yeah, Dad, he said when y'all was back in the day, you didn't run with me back in the day. So we got a host of liars. So we got to get rid of the contamination.
Yeah.
That's a different situation.
Yeah, our situation is that you do have some of that, but for the most part, they're not even dealing with them at all. They're not even dealing with them at all. The old school's not dealing with them at all. I don't know if you remember around the country, they had a such thing called fuck OGs. I don't know if you remember that, right? We never had that in our hood. We never had that in our hood. Never, not for one day.
Wow, I want to ask you.
So dealing with the youngsters, we need more people to step up to the plate in other communities. They're saying, no, man, it's got to stop. Because remember, I'm just one of the very few, very, very few. I mean, I'm talking about people that's credible. That's credible that's doing it. And it's other guys that's credible that can do it that's not doing it.
Right.
But they go to work, they got a family, they living a peaceful life.
That's right.
And they're not encouraging the youngsters to do it. They just not saying nothing about it.
Ain't saying nothing about it.
But you decided to pick up your cross.
I decided to pick up my cross.
You decided to do it the way where you put it on your back. So at the end of the day, I think that's something that, it have to be something in you to drive you to even want to see people change.
Okay, that's all Gallup. How's it working out though? In your hood, what is the youth violence down? In your hood, are they putting the guns down? Since you got this platform. And you're doing it. So what difference has it made today?
I want to say it's working.
Okay.
And this is the reason why I say it's working. Because I know the lives that I've saved.
Okay.
I know that it can get real reckless, even if I agree we're going in that direction. Just by me changing my life, the violence has went down. Just by me changing my life, the violence went down. And now where I'm standing at, I know the violence is going down because it can get real reckless if I decide to say, hey man, green light, let's go. That's what they wait on. You might not believe that, but if you was in that life, up until a certain point, they waiting for you to come back. Man, OG, we need you.
I get it.
So by me standing where I stand at, it's working. It's working, man. We had 40 kids last year, all summer. Everybody came to work, went home safe for the whole summer. We all know what summers do. It's working.
So no killings in your neighborhood all summer?
Not with them 40.
That's 40. That's the few. When
it's working.
When you take it as one at a time, because Lot couldn't save one.
Yeah,
you dig what I'm saying? So I understand this, but then when you say, that's just like in the church, and you have 40, them is gonna be good kids anyway. What about that 20 that ain't coming to the church? And it's easy for you to get the ones that's coming. Go get the ones that ain't coming.
OG.
I'm just
the ones that ain't coming to church are dying.
That's what I'm saying.
The good kids are dying. They're getting caught up in the mix.
That's right.
So you got to catch them too. They the ones that's really dying. And they don't know how to move.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They ain't used to that.
Yeah.
Change is hard.
And then for you to see, for the parents, remember when we had 40 kids, for their parents, for the parents to say, I'm gonna let my kids go over there to Big Mama Safe House, is a win.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Depends on who you talking to, bro. We can argue about who's the top 3 gangsters in San Antonio ever. We can argue that right now.
Wow.
And Lil Papa will be in that list. So for the parents to say, you can go over there with Papa, with Bennie Price, the Big Mama Safe House, that's a win.
Yes, sir.
I went to Capitol Hill, spoke at the Capitol, invited to the White House, Safer Community Act with Joe Biden, from the projects to the White House. As they say, from the shit house to the White House. It might not mean nothing to y'all, but y'all know when you get to these kinds of levels,
Yes,
it really
sir.
means something on a different level.
Yes, sir.
No,
So you
I
got to put
think-
some respect on that when saying, is it working? Yeah, it's working, because guess what? They seeing you can do something different. It's working with the parents. They're saying, listen, when you got a kid, you say, you can't do nothing for that kid right there. There's no help for him. That's who Lil Papa was.
That's right.
Well, we ain't got that story no more.
Wow. And I think, like I said, that's what's so extraordinary about the way, that's why I come to deal with the people that I deal with, is because of the way I think that way as well. You know what I mean? One thing you said was like the ones that are outside, right? I remember a time when for years, I went to my cousin's house where it was a music studio. It wasn't no church or none of that. It was just a place where people go and make music and hang out, right? And I would go over there and I'd do my Bible study there, because I used to do Bible study in prison, and they laughed at me every day, every time I had a prayer call. That was the most craziest thing, you know. But during the holidays they'll pull up, but that's another story. But I'm just saying, the part that I like what you were saying is that the ones that would nobody go to, that's the people I was going to. Even the homeless shelters or wherever I would go, it wasn't nobody wasn't even nobody going in the neighborhood. But then the people from the church started calling me a cult, and just because I was going to where nobody else would go. And at the end of the day, I remember going. My Solo got killed, and that was the guy that I was having Bible study with. And when Solo got shot 4 times, when the dope deal went wrong, basically his mom came. Well, I went to the wake. I didn't go to the funeral. I went to the wake. But I remember when she would call, he would light up and say, "Hey, Mom, we having Bible study now. We studying. I'm going to have to call you back." And she came to me when I was there. And she said, "Y'all, you the one that when my son basically would say he was having Bible study, when they was over there to do music, I would come in for just about a couple hours, and I would just study with him." And I think this is something that I took. I don't know what was happening everywhere else, but for the moment, for the time that they was at my place or your safe house, you feel like you doing something to stir them a different way. Everybody didn't die. He was just one that got killed. But I'm just saying, those are the differences that we make. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out how we can help save just one.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's my number.
Because that's the success of longevity is exposure, whether it's negative exposure or positive exposure. A woman that changed my life socially is a lady by the name of Katie O'Hara, was one of our teachers in junior high school. Little white lady, right? Little white lady. We bad as hell. You dig what I'm saying? And she like 26 years old, little fat white girl. Everybody wanted to screw her, but I was young masturbator. I didn't know nothing about having sex or nothing like that. But we was just bad at doing kid shit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't wanting to go to class. And she took 7 of us in. Like, man, let me have it. Because she was a white lady, it was something different to us. We went in and she taught us about doing plays. And we did Uncle Tom's Cavern.
Yeah.
We had never done anything before, and we had to read it. And we had to do Uncle Tom's Cavern. And so they invited all our mothers, like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna invite, that's the best thing we ever had. My mother just came to school when I had detention or getting kicked out or something. Mama, we doing a play. You're doing a play. And they came and seen the play, and we was reading it. We couldn't even read good. But we succeeded in it. Then she took us to see Othello, Romeo and Juliet, and these white folks was just talking and memorizing stuff without even reading it. And it didn't resonate to me till I got to prison. And I got to thinking the power of words. and the longevity of me being in prison, I was pseudo-intellectual. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When I was in the Nation of Islam in prison, I'm the only one that could really read, and I had to do it for the minister.
Wow.
So that was my up. So he throws little chin. You take somebody out of your projects and show them, man, I had never been out. The first time I had ever been out of Compton in my life, I came to Texas. My mother them used to go to Mississippi. I go to juvenile hall. I wasn't going to no shelling no peas. When I got here, landed in Houston Continental Airport. I thought the whole place looked like our Griffin Park. I'd never seen that many trees in my life. You know, you say 296 down there by what's the mall there?
Greenspoint.
Greenpoint Mall. You know, I'm like, man, it was and I found the culture was different. I stayed here 3 days and was shocked because I didn't hear no sirens. I'm so used to hearing helicopter over the top of your house and crash coming in, and it was tranquil out here, quiet, and I had to adjust to it. So sometimes when you take somebody out of their environment, I'm in a Big Mama safe house and I ain't got to look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
As a kid, it's like I want to go back to that.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's when we talk about that 40. It's some that's sitting right out there want to go bad as hell. I ain't going over there that shit. But he want to come.
He want to come.
He really want to come.
That's right.
You dig what I'm saying? I had a DV youth program in '92 at Centennial High School, and it was gang members, and it had a problem with them. A kid would come to school at 7 o'clock in the morning and stay until 2:30, but never go into class. Is that the kid's fault? Because he could be anywhere. He could be selling dope with the homies. But he'll come to the school, but he don't go in the classroom because the class ain't offering him something.
Wow.
So he'll walk the dog all day long. So when they be able to come to Big Mama's safe house, they're gonna resonate to that. You know what I'm saying? And those are the true opportunities. When I'm saying, I ain't trying to say that, you know, big on what you just doing it to the good kids.
No.
I didn't mean it like that. But I mean, it's certain platforms. Well, if you don't come into church, you can't get the services. They going to hell on a handbasket too.
So what we trying to do at Big Mama Safe House, right? We're trying to build up the resources, right? That if a kid wants to do something different today, could he? If you got a kid, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, and he's out in these streets and he's doing what he's doing, right? And he wants to do something different, where can he go? Who's going to help him? Where's the resources at? You got to have them right now. Because if you don't, in the morning, he probably going back to do what he do. So we're trying to build those resources up, right? To be impactful when those times are on the need.
How are you doing it?
Now, the CVI part, you know, we focus on what we call the high risk potential for gun violence. Those who are the shooters. That's what we focus on for the most part. But as a program, you know, we got to extend our arms. Because the kid that's 12 years old, 13 years old this year, will be 14-year-old next year. And the only thing that I ask the different neighborhoods and communities is don't let nobody else in. We like to say we're the last of a dying breed. Let it die with us. And I'm very thankful for every community, for every hood, every set that didn't allow Big Mama Safe House to operate and stay in peace, because that matters. Mm-hmm. That matters. Because if one shot get fired, there's no more peace. So you can imagine how grateful we are that these neighborhoods are really saying, now, man, let Big Mama Safe House do what they do. Because we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're doing right. We're out here trying to help these kids, help these families, help this community. That's what we're doing. And I'm standing on it. I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to bite my tongue. I'm not scared of nobody and none of that. My story, I'm standing on it. When I was in the streets, I stood on it. Not one time have you heard me say anything about my homeboys standing on it. I say I stood on it. When I went to prison, I stood on it. When I came home, I stood on it. I'm standing on it. And one of the biggest encouragements that I can ever have in life is the old crew, man, that stand with me, that encourage me, that don't let me fall and go that other way. No, Papa, no. Keep that away. Keep them, no, we going this way. They ain't letting me do it.
Wow, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Bennie Price. Like, and keep contributing for sure. Like, how can a kid? How do the process go of like them reaching out, or is there a process?
Man, you can reach out to Big Mama Safe House on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You can come by the house, 214 Blue Bonnet Street. You can call my number. I answer my phone. I'll call back. Everything I do is public. You can just Google Bennie Price or Big Mama Safe House, and then I'm gonna pop up.
Where is Big Mama Safe House from here?
Located, yeah.
How far?
It's about 10 minutes from here on the east side.
If I walk?
Now you ain't gonna walk. We used to walk when we were young.
I'm young.
I'm saying when we were young.
He still act like he about 15, but because of the way he act, I ain't never seen him like 75, but walk around like he 25.
I'm gonna shake his hand. I want some of that to rub off on me.
Wild, ain't it, man? But so, is it always open, or how does it work?
Big Mama Safe House, we try to have it open 24 hours a day.
Okay.
Right?
Can we go today?
You can go today. You can go now.
No, we going today.
We can go today. Couple of things is happening today. One of our brothers, he turning 50 something.
So you got cake?
We got cake.
Look out now.
So we
That's all. Ice cream.
Ain't no we need no ice cream.
Y'all need to get some ice cream, man.
And then also I always want to mention, because we also have another big day today that's being celebrated. Okay. It's called 527. And that's some brothers out the East Terrace. They having a 527 family day today. They was probably the biggest neighborhood in San Antonio that was represented here on the east side.
527.
527.
So today is 527.
Today they celebrate 527 because it's the weekend. So
yeah,
but it's 527 because that's their neighborhood.
Wow. I just like I said.
So we going over there too?
Yeah. Yeah, we pulling up. Me and you finna jump in the truck. Me and you finna find these. I'm gonna get the addresses and I'm gonna pull up on them.
No, I'm running with Papa.
No, we pulling up. We pulling up. I got a pair. I got to roll over there. So
we going over there. We going over. We going with Papa. I ain't taking my California ass up in there with that foolishness.
No. Listen, man, we coming over there, man.
People, you know that, don't you?
They wouldn't let that happen, man.
My left up.
But I would say they would love to see y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna pull up.
Seriously, they would love to see y'all. Like you say, our day to day, you know what I'm saying? My big brother, man, Lug, man, he's turning 50 something, you know what I mean? We don't never say 50 what, we just say 50 something.
50 something.
You look at the shirt right there, say, happy birthday, 50 something.
Okay.
And then we got, it's a 527 happening today too.
All right,
which is always
man.
A beautiful thing that they had going on.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, man, thank you for coming on the show, man, and just it's a blessing, man. It's a trip, because when we come into these cities, me and OG, wherever we go, I'm always looking for the one, and I almost didn't get it, because I didn't even. Brewster called me, boss man Brewster called me this morning. I told you, me and you was on the phone earlier. I said, what's this nigga doing, talking about me? No, is you doing good? Because Brewster do a lot in what he does, But these platforms, I guess he just called me and he was like, you in San Antonio, man, you gotta talk to Papa, man. I said, what? Who? We up there, and it had to be God, because I ain't know who you was from a can of paint, as my boy always say out there. You know what I'm saying? But then now we hear and we get an explosive expression of what's going on in San Antonio. That can't be nothing but God. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much.
As soon as I get back to Babylon, I'm going there. We taking a picture. I'm gonna say, quit. He's just like
Thank you so much, man. Like, man, and like I said, if you need us for anything, hit me up, man. Boss Talk 101, man, because the platform is definitely to put, the spotlight on things like this. And I thank God for you brothers, man. You being one that did 23 years.
Yeah.
You being one that did 25 years, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of years, man, and people need to see this, basically, to understand there's a different side to the coin, that people can come back after all them years and still maintain. This brother been out since, how long you been out?
1995.
1995. You see what I'm saying? You been out since 2016. All that stuff is something that's really can tell somebody that's locked up in them cages, because I do get those that say, Hey, E man, I was listening to you when I was in prison. I listened to Boss Talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they hear, they there. Yeah. So they hear these messages and it gives them what? Encouragement that I can get out of here and I still can maintain. That's what Boss Talk 101 is about. Check it, man. It's been another great segment. Thank you. We love you.
Before we go, I want to say this right here. Y'all done probably enjoyed a little bit of San Antonio. You know, we're going to take y'all to the Tone.
Already.
To the Tone.
To the Tone.
Okay. Quickie, you ain't say to the Tone.
Welcome to the Tone.
Man, it's been another great segment of Boss Talk 101 where the bosses talk.